Drunk? Why are we talking about me being drunk? Excuse me? I don't understand. I think I missed something. Howdy ho, neighbors. God, the sound. This stream's giving me major Persona 5. I need to update my starting soons and stuff. Come on. Connect controller. What the? Why isn't it connecting? It was connected. I hate these bootleg controllers when they don't connect to their stuff. God. Hang on. No, hold on. Okay, let me try that. I don't know why that made a difference. Okay, so we last left off. Well, I figure I'm not going to need any massive controls for Ace Attorney over here, so brief recap of last time. If you missed the trial of the stream 2 streams ago, there's a little bit more to talk about there, so I'm going to skip that bit. So we're partway through the
My body is ready.
Yes. We're partway through the investigation of, I guess, the adventure of the clouded Kokoro. I don't know what that means. But, that's been a while since I've heard that one. Everyone's just dropping sound effects. It feels quieter than normal. But, so basically, there's this dude that got arrested.
Delicious pancakes.
Delicious pancakes for someone being stabbed from behind, trying to figure out who done it, and no speaking aloud. So some Japanese man was arrested for allegedly trying to attempt to murder this woman, and he was only accused of that because of Herlock Sholmes. So. We're in the middle of investigating the case. There's not a whole lot that's happened. So oh. William Robbins. Wait, what? That's a weird reference. From don't let him speak. Briar Road. Looks as though the police are still here, carrying on their investigation. Perfect. So let's find Inspector Gregson as quickly as possible. Oh yeah, we have a thing for him, don't we? Yes. Let's see if we'll take a break from his chips.
Fire!
The silver tip Iris gave us for him. Excuse me? That's true. There was fire.
Oh, yeah!
Hello, Gregson. Iris's postcard. Inspector Gregson, do you have a moment? Sorry to say I don't. I'm a very busy man. Okay, well, fine. Guess I'll keep this letter from a child to myself. We talked to a pair of foreign godabouts, that's for sure. We have these for you. A present from Miss Iris Wilson. What? For me, her ladyship, what? Give that here at once. Come on, hand it over. That's for me. Ugh, don't wait for me to give it to you, will you? Hi, I'm here, kind of. What was that coin exactly? It says to a crown, obviously. There's a lot more than that. It's, well, it's an appearance fee. That's what it is. An appearance fee? Oh, I see. You mean... He's right, for the ventures of Herlock Sholmes. Her ladyship always offers me a little financial reward for featuring me. Every time. Yes, of course. I know all about your exploits, Inspector. I read them avidly. Of course, her use of my name without my say-so does make me the butt of a lot of unpleasant jokes. But still. Welcome, Multi. This is Luigi. I'm sorry, Inspector. That must be difficult for you. Never you mind that. So, what do you want to know then, eh? Sorry? Tell Gentleman in Black whatever he wants to know. I trust that won't be a problem, it says. Well, obviously not a problem. Go on, fire away. What do you want to know? Well, if you wouldn't mind, Inspector. Remember, I'd like to know the address of Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Yeah, the little knife-wielding, mustache Japanese fellow. He lives in a right old hovel, just over there. Look! On the first floor of that house in the corner is where that wreck of a bicycle was propped up. God, it's messed up! That is nearby, indeed. Am I right? The landlord is Mr. John Gardydeb? Right, well, if you see her again, make sure you give her ladyship my regards, you hear? I mean it, you tell her that Gregson sends his very best wishes. Don't worry, Inspector, we will. Goodbye for now, then. And long live her ladyship. I'm sorry? The principal's Unless he told us what we wanted to know before he left. Yes, so then, shall we go and see what we can find in Mr. Natsume's lodgings? Definitely. Oops, I meant to move, but... What happened to this bicycle? Oh, a British bicycle, look! Although the wheel is so misshapen, I'm sure it couldn't possibly be ridden anymore. Phil must have been doing some breakneck cycling. Seems bicycles have become extremely popular in London recently. If you were in a movement to change women's dress to allow for them to ride as well. The bicycle fad won't last. I don't see why anyone would want to ride something like that. Goodness, do you dislike bicycles? No, not at all. I mean, it's not that I dislike them exactly. It's just that any occupation that involves taking both your feet from off the ground seems reckless. Oh boy! If you ever tried walking on stilts and fallen into a river, I know you'd agree with me. We'll have to hire a bicycle sometime. You can sit behind me while I ride you around. Take her up on that. It sounds like fun. Ha! Her face is always amusing to me. Mr. Natsume's lodgings. Holy who? May I help you? Yes. Would this be the residence of Mr. John Gardydeb? Indeed it would, sir. And who may I say is calling? My name is Ryo Nosoki Naruto. I am... Mr. Naruto is representing Mr. Soki Natsume. I believe he takes lodgings here. What the... We'd very much like to ask him some questions about our client. What is... It's Femc. One moment, please. I shall convey the message to Mr. Gardydeb. Did you see that, Miss Susato? That was a real-life English maid. I know. As I understand it, anyone of standing in English society employs a number of household staff. But that was the first time I've seen one in the flesh. Oh, this day keeps getting better. It certainly feels like we've really arrived now, doesn't it? We only need to meet a butler, and the experience will be complete. Well, I'm not sure if I'd go that far, but I understand the sentiment. Thank you for waiting. Mr. Garadeb will see you now. This way.
Oh, yeah!
Holy hello. I have to observe him first, I guess. Oh. Good day to you. John Garadeb at your service. Pleased to meet you, sir. This is Ryunosuke Naharuto. He's the defense lawyer. I swear I can't speak. You excuse me not getting up. Took a shot to the knee a few years back in the battle of my wand. My wand? Don't you know? Earned me a medal for my pains, but had to withdraw from service, handed over the reins of the up-and-comings. So he's a retired soldier. It's a hell of a job getting up and downstairs now, I can tell you. Don't get out much, as you can imagine. Yes, quite the climb up here to the second floor, isn't it? I was panting at the top of the stairs. You really must take more exercise, Mr. Naruto. Man shaped like a banana. Do you think so? Oh, banana! Mr. Garadeb, no doubt you were very courageous to earn yourself a medal. Oh, it was nothing. The medal's just a folder royal, really. I don't know what that means. Wouldn't like to offend the general, though, so I grudgingly displayed it on the wall. Why don't you fetch it down, Joan? Let these good people see it properly. Okay. Joan, fetch the... Ah! Dash it all, woman! Be careful! Oh, dearie me, I do beg your pardon, sir. You jolly nearly took off the skin off my hands. Should be more careful, sir. So anyway, there you have it. Living the quiet life now. Yes, I see. When the moon hits your eye. Now then, I hear you want to know about the chap lodging downstairs, is that right? Yes, we'd be very grateful if you could answer some questions for us. Only too pleased, naturally, especially if it helps keep the peace here in Blightly. Oh my god, you fought the Legend of the Empire of Japan recently, as I'm sure you're aware. So the case is very much in the public eye, as it were. Oh, is it? Even has some famous detective poking around, you know, in this old house, would you believe? Yes, Mr. Herlock Sholmes. Could have been. Didn't catch the chap's name. Not really my cup of tea, all that detective business. Oh, but you have a copy of Randust magazine here, so... no. Anyway, the chap's investigating the foreigner's room as we speak. So he's in the Sosuke-san's room. Oh, great. It's a bully nuisance is what it is. The whole neighborhood's twitching with its curtains now. You see this guy's face on. He looks stupid. I know, right? Like all the fuss. It's jolly unsettling. About Mr. Natsumi then, Mr. Garadeb. Please do tell us. Ah yes, the Japanese chap. Only been lodging here for a week. Oh, just 1 week? So he moved in very recently then. I have 2 lodgers most of the time, one on the ground floor and one just below us. The first for the... I didn't get to finish reading that until she burned his leg. Dash it all, Joan! Do be careful! What does it say? First room had been available a week ago, you see. There'd been... Oh my goodness, I'm terribly sorry, sir. If you want to know my opinion... I thought it was she sorted. The moment I set eyes on him, what is she doing? Why are you reading everything in British? I can't read in British all the time. Oh, why? You seem to have a most nervous disposition. Always shaking, looking over his shoulder. The man had shady written across his sweat-soaked brow, if you ask me. Said to myself, Joan, that man is trouble. Sooner or later, he's going to do something untoward. And I'm rarely wrong about anything. I won't be calling this maid as a witness, that's for sure. Was there anything else that struck you suspicious about that man at all? Yes. Oh, yes. Indeed there was. And she's dying to tell us. Did you notice anything else at all about your lodger, Mr. Natsumi? Oh my word, yes, the man was shadier than an orchard. Could you elaborate? Well, take the man's room, absolutely stuffed full of books as it is. Well, anyone could ever read. And he never so much as passes the time of day with another living soul. Haven't even seen a single visitor call. He just trots off to the old bookshop every single day and comes back at 5 to light the gas fire. And the funny little man is up long past the time everyone else has gone to bed too. Oh, I see. The gentleman on the ground floor goes to bed around 9 each night. But I've never known that Japanese fellows retire any earlier than 2 in the morning. Good grief! Ah. Can you clarify something, I wonder? What, pray? How do you know so much about Mr. Natsumi's routine? Oh! I'd understand that neither of the lodgers live on this floor of this house. Is that correct? That's right, yes. They're both below us on the first floor and street level. He's looking nervous. Then how is it you know so much about the lives of your lodgers? The precise times that they come back in the evening, for example, even the times they go to bed. That is kind of weird. She could have scalded his leg. Ah! Good grief, Joe, be more careful, woman! Oh my goodness, sir, I'm terribly sorry, sir. How much tea is in there? Something doesn't add up here. Sounds like a classic case of deflecting. Good catch, Suzato. Seems that the incident took place around 5 in the evening. You happened to look out your window around that time? The window? Yes, we noticed that the window over there looks out over Briar Road. The incident took place on the pavement just to the far side of the street. Was there anyone suspicious loitering nearby? 5 o'clock dinner time in the Garadeb household, so I'm afraid I don't remember seeing anything. How about you, Joan? No, sir. It would have been dusk outside already at that hour. With the fog as well, I should think it would have been quite impossible to see the other side of the road. Oh, I see. Did you notice anything else out of the ordinary, then? Such as? Anything at all, even if it seems unrelated. Well, yes, was there something then? Well, it's nothing particularly significant, but around that sort of timing here, there... Ah! For the love of God, Joan, watch what you're doing! Oh, dearie me, what have I done? I'm awfully sorry, sir. Well, careful, woman! Of course, sir. If I may, Mr. Narrow Hollow. Yeah, what did she call it? Narrow Hollow. I have an exceedingly good memory. As far as I remember, nothing of any significance took place here at that hour. Nothing at all. Oh, really? Mr. Jaredin? The way you were talking before, it sounded rather like there might have been... Oh, well, as I was saying, I was just trifling matter, really. Nothing of it. My God! Joe Dasher, what's the matter with you, woman? Begging your pardon, sir? Nothing happened. Yes, quite. Nothing happened. We sat down to a quiet, uneventful meal. Joan? That's right, Mr. Jaredin. She has something like rim dust. What's the matter with these things? Stop bullying me, Isolate! Sounds like something happened here in this room on the evening of the incident. But what? Wish I knew. Skill issue room. You tell which floor Mr. Natsumi's room is on? Why, certainly. Just below us on the first floor. And Mr. Sholmes is investigating there, even as we speak. Yes, told me Nats's name has him to look into the matter, so I gave him the key. Mr. Natsumi has engaged Mr. Sholmes' services? That's a blatant lie. Well, we also had a look around. In Mr. Natsumi's room, I mean. Don't see why not. It's just down one flight of stairs. Here's if we'll find anything that could help us with the case, but we have to try. We all we can lay our hands on, shall we? Yes, and while we're there... Oh god, we can speak to Mr. Sholmes again. Perhaps he'll be able to tell us more. I really don't want to hear anything he has to say. Oh boy, here we go. Oh my gosh. Kitty! What? Just look at this place. There's not even a window. And smell it. It's so musty in here. I suppose it's the mountains of old books that are responsible for that. Her face gets me every time. I don't think I've ever seen so many books on all my life. Well, I mean, you only have everything you need in one book. No, me neither. It's so dark in here, too. Is that the window over there? Well, it was the window, I think. Yes, once upon a time. For some reason, it's been closed up with bricks and mortar. So this is where Mr. Natsumi lives. By the way, I haven't spotted Mr. Sholmes anywhere. Have you? No, that's true. But according to what Mr. Garadeb told us, the great detective should be around here somewhere investigating. Give him a moment. Well, let's have a look at some stuff. Oh, look! It's a beckoning cat from home! It's a bit big and bulky, isn't it? Surely Miss Natsumi didn't bring that Menkai Neko all the way from Japan with him. I hardly think you're in a position to comment, Mr. Naruhado. Are you forgetting the enormous Daruma doll that you brought in your luggage? Well, it can be dangerous traveling abroad. I wanted a lucky charm. Well, I imagine Mr. Natsumi wanted the same. This guy here is sure to beckon good luck to him. It's not doing a very good job so far, is it? You mustn't say such things. I didn't say them at all. I didn't say a word. Exactly. Why are my eyes such a giveaway? Well, this is highlightable for some reason. There should be some sort of meter on the wall here. It looks very robust. Cat! I wonder what it's for. There's a slot inserting coins here, too. The magic book of everything. Susato. I believe that is a gas meter, Mr. Naruhado. Show us the kitty! Gas meter? See, there's piped gas in this district, which customers pay for by putting coins in the meter. That... what? I'll check the cat next. So if I were to put a coin in the slot, that would be enough to gas to use lights and gas fire for the whole night. That seems a bit criminal. So if you were too poor to have a coin, you'd have to spend the night in the dark and freezing cold? That's right. As would a rich man only carried crisp white notes. Ugh, London's a scary place. As she smiles about it. Kitty! Oh! Oh my gosh, what? He left! Oh my, what an adorable little cat. Perhaps he's looking after all the books while his master's away. Good content. I don't know about that. He disappeared into that pile of books as quick as a flash. Yes! Yes! It was a tricolor Mikey, wasn't it? Do they even have that sort of cat here in Great Britain? Perhaps Natsumi brought the little creature with him from Japan. That's made me feel homesick now. Already? We've only been in the country for 2 days. Well, I can check this out. The desk seems to be lodged into a crevice between the mountains of books on either side. I suppose Mr. Natsumi would sit here and read while stroking his cat. But surrounded on all sides by these towering old tomes, surely he dreamt of books every night as well. Yes, he must have done. Mustn't he? Oh, what's this? It's a receipt from a second-hand shop. Your books. Oh, yes, Mr. Natsumi's name's on it. Look, and the date of the purchase, Ah, 2 days ago at 4:45 p.m. We've achieved internet success. It's the day of the incident. That's just a short while before he was embroiled in the terrible attack. He must have been on his way back from buying some old books. The second-hand book proceeds but added in blah, 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 court record. Okay. I guess I'll look at the window. Could you even call this a window? I think so. It was a window at one time, after all. Although all that remains is a frame around some bricks now. So really, it's just a wall then, isn't it? But why would anyone deliberately brick it up like that? I'm afraid I have no idea. It's not in my book. Ah! Perhaps this Natsumi painted the brick design in a bit of a whimsy. In a fit of whimsy. Well, that was a new reaction for her. Like, ah! Not sure the law is going to be feasible. Anyway, whatever the reason, the lack of ventilation here makes the place very oppressive. It does. I imagine being cooped up in a room like this would be extremely trying. Look at all those books stacked up there. You didn't even reach the ceiling. A lot of works of English literature, and they all smell so musty. With this volume of books to hand, you'd never be short of reading material, would you? No, what a dreamy idea. A bad dream, maybe. For me, at least. Mind you, I don't imagine the book that's at the bottom of the pile now will ever be read again. Ah, so reading is an experience that comes but once in a lifetime. Just as the tea ceremony teaches us. I certainly didn't expect the conversation to turn you down the path of tea ceremony philosophy. Jeez. What? Look at all those balls of paper on the floor. There are notes scrawled all over them, in English. Looks like the waste paper basket is so full they've just fallen out. I think Mr. Natsume has been deeply immersed in his research, don't you? What are you resting your arm on, dear? Just kind of floating like, Or the machine behind the books? You missed me, check that one. Or deeply adverse to tidying up his mess. I wouldn't like to speculate which is closer to the truth. Okay, anything over here? Oh, well, here he is. He's just chilling. We just didn't look far enough to the right. Hello, Sholmes. Ah, look, Mr. Naruhado. Aha, there he is. Where did he appear from? He seems to be engrossed in the pages of an old book. I hope he won't mind if we disturb him. Hello, Mr. Sholmes. Oh, God. Ah, you two. Good day. Oh, my God. Virgil. Now, let me see. Where was that? Where was it we met? Oh, Mr. Sholmes, we were together on SS Bira. Yes, of course. The Bira. Let me see. What happened on that voyage? It was Kazuma Asogi. He died tragically, but you were a great help to us. Ah, yes, but of course, the case of Mr. Asogi. It was one with a snake, wasn't it? Oh, well, you seem to remember something of it at least. What an honor to be remembered vaguely by the great Herlock Sholmes. This is Mr. Oh, no, my dear madam, hold your tongue. I pride myself on my superior powers of recollection. Your names are safely recorded in my brain attic. Miss Naruhado? Not yet, sir! And Mr. Susato. So close. Try the other way around, Mr. Sholmes. She's so disappointed. I lose the first round. What do I mean by that? And in truth, I hoped to invite you both to my Baker Street suite the day we arrived in London. But some Scotland Yarders ambushed me at the railway station and whisked me away to a crime scene. It was an entirely trivial case, of course. I solved the matter in no more than 30 minutes. So they apprehended Suzuki-san in that short amount of time? The braided pursuance of a new case has dulled my recollection of the past involvements a little. A little? If it is a mistake to think that one's brain has elastic walls and can descend to any extent. I do my best to forget useless facts, lest they should elbow out the useful ones. Yes, those are my own words of inevitable wisdom, you know, from the adventure titled The Study in Scarlet. Please, there's no need to quote yourself. Yeah, but I don't know how old the protagonist is. I'm not talking about myself. My real name is not Mr. Naruto. Also, how did you know that? I don't always remember my pearls of wisdom, but fortunately, my associate pens them beautifully. Me as Iris, I suppose. What? Oh, God. Mr. Sholmes, we have some extremely important questions to ask you about the trivial case you just mentioned. Goodness, what an earnest expression. My dear madam, I surely be too pleased, and this murky room is an apt place to discuss the murky case. Oh, boy. We must converse. Japan's age of consent is 16. We're fine. But 7 years is a bit of a stretch. We're in London! That is a very legitimate comparison. But it's also like the 1800s. I don't think that matters in either setting. Just saying. Anyway. We know this to be the lodging of a Japanese foreign student by the name of Soseki Natsume. Oh, okay, Sora. See you later. We are also Japanese. Seems that you assisted in his arrest, Mr. Sholmes, for the stabbing of a young woman outside of here on Briar Road. Natsume. Yes, I believe it was a name rather along those lines. I don't like this combo I came back to. But Mr. Natsume denies it. Was it really justifiable to arrest him on so little? That's different. That's different. Also, they're older now. It's different. I'm sorry, Mr. Zato. I have not the slightest idea what you mean. What? I can't believe he was looking Susato-san squarely in the eye while feigning ignorance. Don't date while you're children. That's strange. I assure you, I am not merely feigning ignorance. Oh god, he just keeps reading my mind. It would appear as if the pair of you are under some misapprehension. Oh, how? I assure you I have no recollection of accusing your stupid compatriot of the crime. But that doesn't make any sense. The good detective of Scotland Yard made the following request of me, and I quote verbatim. We need you to ascertain the identity and whereabouts of a man fleeing the scene of the crime. That's not how he said it, by the way. I'm done with you two. I didn't do anything! Ah, a man seen fleeing. Okay, that's fair. There was a number of books scattered on the pavement at the scene. From the book plates, I was quickly able to determine the bookshop from which they had been purchased. On speaking with the proprietor, I was immediately led to this address. Elementary, wouldn't you say? Spirit of justice is canon, you know. I believe there is a receipt around here somewhere from the establishment in question. So you don't think Mr. Natsume is the culprit, then? That I could not tell you. But it was aggravating my faculties, hence why I returned here. However, this place is such a trove of fascinating books, I found myself quite lost in Bibleology. That's not a real word, I don't believe you. 90 degrees? It's like 60-something right now for me. Do not be deceived into believing that I am a man of leisure. No, no, no. Oh, dear. Anyway, that didn't really help anything. The land. High 30s. Oh, God. Tell me, have you encountered the landlord of these lodgings? Yes, Mr. Garadeb, a retired military man. It was the first time I'd ever met a soldier from the great British institution that is the services. And it wasn't the first time I've ever met a maid from the Great Britain institution that is service. These two are weird. I didn't think it was that funny. I do apologize. as you may well be aware, many households in London employ a maid. Yes, I read as much in my Great Britain primer. And so, conversely, whether or not the household employs a maid has come to betoken the social standing of those dwelling therein. Betoken their social standing. Sorry? Yeah, I don't know what that means. Put simply, my dear fellow, those who employ at least a single maid are considered middle class. Those who do not are beneath that. Ooh. In the upper echelons of society, of course, household employ enough staff to constitute a large family. Goodness, how extraordinary. As you can appreciate, for those on the precarious boundary between middle and lower classes, being able to afford just one maid is that is of the first importance. Sorry, my nose is... I had no idea. And it is for precisely that reason I find great stimulation in the situation upstairs. Specifically, the retired Army veteran, Mr. John Garadeb. Oh. Wait, why are we talking about him? Affable as he is, the fellow is hiding something. Whether or not it imposes on the circumstances of this case, I have yet unable to ascertain. I'm thoroughly lost in what he means to say. The dinghy room. This room is thoroughly suffocating for the soul, my dear fellow. Well, I would agree. I assure you, any man who is lot to dwell in a place such as this will stab somebody sooner or later. Mr. Natsumi has stabbed no one! Ha! But sooner or later, as I said. I don't believe that's the issue here. About this dark little room, Mr. Sholmes. Why is there no longer a window? Do you have any idea? No window? Well, I mean, I can clearly see that there is a window of sorts. Why is that even... But it's been completely blocked with bricks. Ah, I see. The answer to that question is quite simple. Window tax. What? Window tax? What is that? Surely not a tax on windows. Precisely that. Oh my goodness! Until relatively recently, a tax was levied on households in this country with a number of their windows. Those of lesser means, having inherited a sizable and costly family home, perhaps rapidly close windows up. Harry, you and your magic again. Well, the rich open windows here, there, and everywhere, in an effort to curry favor with those in power by furnishing them with large sums of tax money. How awful! And unjust, forcing people to live in rooms devoid of light. Oh, she's got the serious pose again, look out. Indeed, disease was rife as a result, so some 40 years ago, or thereabouts, the window tax was abolished. But its legacy remains, as you can see, in squalid lodgings such as these, for example. I suppose Natsumi's stipend for living here in London isn't very generous, perhaps. It would appear so. I've done a little digging, and discovered that these lodgings were offered at an extraordinarily low price. Because the room was so awful, I should think. God, this is sad. The first steps of capitalism. Apparently, Mr. Natsumi only moved... Oh, sorry. That's the wrong character. Mr. Natsumi only moved here about 1 week ago. Yes, that's correct. However, I don't believe the low rent is explained by the shabby nature of the accommodation. No? Still, that is of little relevance here. A matter not worthy of further attention. Are you sure? I'm curious now. Can we ask him? Well, I believe I've told you all I can now. Thank you, Mr. Sholmes. Ah, yes, Mr. Naruhado. It was not your intention to become a practitioner of law. You remember that, did you? Will you perhaps be offering your services in this very manner, I wonder? To the occupant of this room, Mr. Natsume, was it? I'm not sure. Not sure? On what grounds? Well, I actually defended someone in court here only yesterday. Really? Well, then I congratulate you, sir, on an ambition realized. And so promptly, too. The thing is, it's really made me question things. Am I right to believe in my clients? To trust in their innocence? Yes, trust. Mr. Sholmes. Mr. Natsume didn't do it, did he? My dear fellow, having the first idea. Oh, but I thought that's why you were here. Didn't you come back to investigate? Ah, yes, that was indeed my initial intention. But there's only too many fascinating books here. I couldn't possibly ignore them. Oh, I see. Nevertheless, they are two facts I can state quite unequivocally. The man who fled the scene of the crime 2 days ago was the Japanese occupant of this room, and there were witnesses to swear of having seen the same man commit the crime. That is all I can say. I had one more thing. Oh, what is it, Mr. Sholmes? Tell us. I cannot say with any certainty whether or not it is of relevance to this case, but I am quite sure that the retired army man who owns this property is hiding something. Mr. Garadeb is. Mr. Sholmes said as much before, actually, didn't he? Anyway, at present, that is really all that plays on my mind in relation to this case. Mr. Naruhado, as yet our investigations have uncovered nothing that would help establish Mr. Natsumi's innocence. No, you're right. Perhaps this time we probed a little deeper into Mr. Garadeb's secret. Just remember, I cannot be sure whether the landlord's secret will prove to be of relevance or not. But I wish you every success, of course, Mr. Naruhado. Did he leave, or did he just fade? Busy man indeed. He's gone back to his book in the corner of the room. I can't see that from here. He has? I need to see. Yep, right back to breeding. We haven't played this place in a while, haven't we? I guess we'll go here. Push a little harder. Ah, you pair again. Tell me, was the detective chap, I forget his name, still hard at work down there? Mr. Herlock Sholmes? Ah yes, rings a vague bell. All that detective business isn't really my thing, I'm afraid. Well, Mr. Sholmes is in his element down there. Jolly good show. Another cup of tea, if you please, Joan. Oh, then. Wait, tell me what? Ah! Dude! For the umpteenth time, woman, will you watch what your Bolly well doing? Should we be serving dinner shortly, sir? Ah, yes, of course. Frankly rude of me, but I'm afraid I shall have to ask you to take your leave if you'd be so kind. Oh, yes, of course. We are deeply grateful for all your assistance. Not at all, not at all. Don't get much chance to talk with young foreigners like yourselves. It's been a pleasure. Best of luck and all that. Hope you can see yourselves out. According to Mr. Sholmes, Sir Garadeb is hiding something. And since no other venues of investigation seem open to us at the moment, perhaps we should do some digging. Wait, is he in the room? Why is he here now? They're getting their money's worth in these animations. Yeah, I mean, I don't know why they waited so long for us to see them in America. They're just so they're good. Why did we not get them? Should I? I'll just address the elephant in the room first. Ah, what's he doing over there? Mr. Sholmes? Aha! We meet again, my dear fellows. Good gracious, when did you sneak in there? Herlock Sholmes, sir, at your service. Whatever are you doing by the window? Why is he so sweaty and nervous? I'm given to watching to the evening sky as the sun sets, madam. Yet sadly, cheerful as the room downstairs undoubtedly is, it lacks the aperture for such observation. So I took the liberty of borrowing a small corner of space by the window up here. Well, keeping an eye on one's windows at dusk is the prudent thing to do in London, I'm gathering. Ah, one other thing, Mr. Naruhado? Oh, me. I thought perhaps you might be in need of a certain great detective's great mind. Oh no, here we go. We're doing that dance again, aren't we? Wait, he's not talking about... Is he? I didn't expect to be going through that again so soon. I did. Do you mean Mr. Sholmes? There is a mighty secret in this modest room. May I see even the most trivial of trifles? Or trifles? I take it you're prepared, Mr. Naruhado? I think so. There is just time enough for one of my greatly admired great deductions. Let's continue the matter before dark. Conclude the matter. This will be something interesting. Mr. Garadeb, though it would seem you are a military man of considerably distinguished service, your standing as the landlord is most certainly not what one might call first-rate. I'm afraid, sir, that it is all too clear to me. There are two conclusions I've been able to draw by a careful observation of your living arrangements. I beg your pardon? The first is that even as we speak, you are concealing the presence of a ferocious beast in your care. Ah! And the second is that the result of the beast's violent rampage, you have lost something very dear to you. What? Mr. Naruhado, look! Old man's broken out in a cold sweat. I've noticed that. Unbelievably, it seems Mr. Sholmes' conclusions both spot on. How could you possibly? How would I possibly know what you mean to acquire? The answer couldn't be simpler, sir. For in the dense jungle of logic and reasoning, I am the king of the beasts. Oh my god. And I know only too well that wild beasts are not easily tamed. So, shall we begin? Once again, Herlock Sholmes is proud to present his logic and reasoning spectacular. Good grief. Here we go. The great deduction. The game is afoot. Topic number 1. Nature of the beast. It certainly shouldn't take a great detective to see. Oh my god, it's a mess! That a fearsome beast has been on the rampages of late within these 4 walls. I love his style. Thus we are faced with the question, what form might this beast take? Oh yeah, it's big brain time! Haha, for a man with military breeding, your eyes are uncomfortably candid. Your fugitive glance, Mr. Garadeb, leads us directly to the answer. The true nature of this beast is run rampant here, drew by that lion statue. Yes, though an army man, you appear unimposing at best. In fact, that is fuel your admiration for the mighty lion, the king of the beasts. What is this spiteful, I ask you? And your admiration became so great, in fact. You had a living, breathing specimen shipped in from India, which you tried to keep in this very house. What? That's a weird mark on his face. Yet living with such a wild beast proved more difficult than you had imagined. The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well. Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam. Me! I pray, you do not consider me unchivalrous, but it is plain to me with one glance in your direction. It is. Wait, what? Your dress pocket gives us a handsome clue as to the beast's current whereabouts. Protruding from it is a handbill advertising a circus show. Ah. Yes, you ought to dispose of this terrifying lying Mr. Garadeb. At Batty's Circus, a traveling show currently sauntering in a nearby park. I've observed the tents. You sold the savage item, sir, to the circus troupe. Mike, I most certainly did not. I believe I have made my point. The fearsome beast which run amok in this room was an Indian lion, and a simple visit to the circus now will reveal the lion prancing jubilantly through a ring of fire. Oh my god. Well, that's not the case. Topic number 2. Aftermath. Now, Mr. Garadeb, it is plainly clear that you still have deep feelings for this formidable beast. Indeed, that blithe pose and distress this loss has caused you is virtually tangible. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel by being rivaled by that supporting arm. And amid the fits of tears, you let your beloved beast go. The strain of losing something so dear to you is clearly visible in your visage. Nonsense, man! I simply... We must ask ourselves, is the true cause of this pain? And we need only to follow the direction of your gaze to find the answer. What? Yes, this pile of bills is giving rise to pain you suffer. What? Every envelope contains another demand for payment. Huh? For cartloads of meat, potatoes, wheat, and tea. Indeed, feeding your beloved has had a devastating impact on your financial circumstances in your household. the beloved beast that is the maid. She looks like she eats a lot of potatoes. And so you had no choice but to let it go. Yes, well, Now, in a final fit of rage, a ferocious beast carried out one last unimaginable attack. Unimaginable? The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. A very expensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. What could have caused such a destructive outburst? Ah! This time, madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your wandering eye has settled upon the answer very neatly indeed. Yes, to explain the dire state of the carpet, you know, we look at the Tower of Cakes. What? There is no creature more dangerous on this earth than a beast with an unsatisfied appetite. Was it or was it not once said by a certain noblewoman, if they have no bread, they need cake? Food is at the heart of all strategy, in fact. Whatever do you mean? Having tired the taste of cake, the beast began to stalk its next prey. I'm sure I need not spell out the nature of this final act of destruction carried out by the beast. There's only one logical conclusion. What? Worked into a frenzy by hunger. The lion attacked and ate the carpet! There's no lion, and it didn't eat the carpet! The teeth marks in the carpet are a perfect match for those of a lion I once saw in India. Okay. Thus concludes Sherlock Holmes' great deduction of this beastly puzzle. Sure it does. They're just both flabbergasted. Ah! What is the matter with you, Joan? You're pouring scalding hot tea all over me! Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Jared. I'm afraid I didn't notice. No, you didn't. It actually be startlingly sharp. It stands to reason your cup runneth over. Indeed, my revelations can make people spill tears at times, too. There are no lions in India. Oh. Mr. Sholmes, sorry to butt in. Again. But could I make an observation? Why, certainly, Mr. Naruhado. What is it? Again. Well, your deduction just now. You really think a lion could have fit inside a room of this size? Indeed, it is the only explanation for the facts. The terrifying truth often lies beyond the realms of common sense. But wouldn't it be an idea to consider what lies inside the realms of common sense as well? But, if an uncanny giant had run amok in this very room, sure Mary Jared and the maid would have been hurt. Or worse. That's where you are stuck. No doubt the former military man still held his own against the beast using that large cannon. I thought you said they sold the lion to the circus! Time to binge ice cream. And what about the food? Meat and potatoes are one thing. But I don't believe I ever heard of a lion that drinks tea. Ah, my dear Miss Sato, it occurs to me with some regularity, that introspective of race and breeding, whenever anyone lands on Great British soil, they are infused with a highly appropriate taste for afternoon tea. Well, it's not entirely wrong. Oh, what a glorious notion. Susato, please don't buy into this. Well then, Mr. Naruhado, it's your turn to shine again. I had a feeling that was coming. A slight massage, that's all Mr. Shum's deduction needs. You can do it. I'm not massaging this man! Excuse me? I refuse. My hands are for the ladies only. Excellent. I've been waiting for my trusty partner in deduction to step forward, Mr. Naruhado. He knew. He's like, come on. Let's dance. We don't even know yet whether or not this is going to help with Mr. Natsumi's case. Still, uncovering the truth is always worthwhile, whatever the motivation. At least, that's what I want to believe. Let us start again from the beginning of Herlock Sholmes' Logic and Reasoning Spectacular. Sure, let's do it. Course correction. I forget we're carrying a sword around. I need this snack. I'm just waiting for the new stuff to start. I'm just got my mouth full. I really didn't see the lying thing coming. No, but if you observe Mr. Jaredim's reaction, it rather seems as though some beast did indeed run amok here in this room. Yes, so something with a very fierce nature. But it couldn't have been a lion transported from India. So what was it then? We must follow Mr. Jaredim's gaze. That leads to the true answer. I want to see. What is this? What is this photograph? Wait a second! Oh my god! That's not his maid! That's his wife! What is this photograph? It must be from Mr. Jaredim's wedding. He looks very happy, doesn't he? He does, but you can't make out his bride. No, how unfortunate. Something must have struck the glass directly over the woman's face. I wonder what happened. Probably best not to delve too deeply there. Let's just do it. It isn't mutually exclusive.
Take that!
Look at his smugness. The true nature of the beast that has run rampant here is revealed by that newlywed bride. Precisely, Mr. Naruhado. No other explanation can possibly fit. Definitely not the lion statue in front of the picture. Yes, this framed print pictures your wife, Mr. Jaredim. And while we lament the fact that her face is obscured, we can still make out her mighty arms and note considerable horsepower they must contain. Dude, it's so rude! Oh, indeed. Surely any woman with such powerful constitution would be honored to be described as a beast. Mr. Sholmes, I don't think you understand women. Honored might be stretching a point. Look at the face! God, I love how expressive all these models are. They really pulled this off on the 3DS. I almost can't. Hey, buff girls are valid. No, that's true. But, like, I don't think they were as much in the 1800s, is all I'm saying. Being called a beast is one thing. Too late! The fact remains that the beast, which so clearly savaged this room, was your wife, Mr. Jaredib. Ugh! The chilling traces of a wild rampage are still very much in evidence. Well! Yet as we look around, the beast in question fails to present itself. Where could this angry creature have disappeared to? Madam. Me? I pray. You do not consider me unchivalrous, but it's plain to see willingness in your direction. It is. Your dress pocket gives us handsome clues to the beast's current whereabouts. Well, that's not that. The poor, fragile, defenseless woman is beside herself. Well, I don't know about fragile. Oh, dear. Anyway, Mr. Sholmes is quite right. There's no sign of a Miss Jaredib anywhere. But it seems there may be a clue as to her whereabouts. The clue that this maid is trying to hide. I wonder where Mr. Garrideb's wife could be. Oh my god, are we really having this discussion? Oh, okay. God, this camera angle is very bad. Okay, he's not... What things can I interact with? If I check her. Two tightly shut eyes avoid even the chance of a giveaway glance. Pursed lips to prevent any secrets from flipping out. Rounded cheeks to deflect any abuse that might be hurled her way. Oh my god! Yes, this is an unnervingly powerful woman, Miss Usato. It's your turn of phrase that's unnerving, Mr. Naruhodo. What can I interact with? What a charming little teapot, and it's in pristine condition. Joan has been pouring some deliciously fragrant tea from it for Mr. Garrideb, hasn't she? Well, not so much for Mr. Garrideb as on Mr. Garrideb, wouldn't you say? I wouldn't dream of drawing attention to it. Okay. I got these angles. Are we just gonna... Your maid? Would that work contextually? I mean, I know what I'm trying to say. Let's give it a shot. Nope, that's not gonna work. I tell you, this is impossible to believe could be true, yet for some reason, the thought came to my mind that this serving maid is in fact the mighty goddess of destruction. What precisely was your intention with that, Mr. Naruhodo? Following the natural progression of the deduction, sometimes the truth hurts. Well, the truth is, you do not have the turn for observation or deduction. Did that hurt? Yes, a lot. Okay. We already established who it was that caused all the damage in this room. Yes, Mr. Garrideb's wife. Yeah, I know that. It's just a question of finding out where she is now. For some reason, I feel as though she's very nearby. I just need to find the evidence to prove it. Okay. Oh! God, I'm an idiot. There we go. There we go. My brain wasn't thinking. She's wearing a very large ring, look. Oh yes, a sunflower design with some rather nice embellishments. And it's on the ring finger of her left hand, which means... It's surely a wedding ring! Looks like it's on there for life, too. I can't imagine it would slide off a finger of that size. Dude! That's something to think, Mr. Naruhodo. Not to say. Not that it matters with him. Do you know, Mr. Garrideb's wife in the photograph had a ring very much like this one? It was a large sunflower design as well. Really? You have a great memory for these things. A large sunflower wedding ring. It's quite a coincidence that they have the same ring, isn't it? God, the way they say it.
Take that!
Your wedding ring is as handsome clue as the beast's current whereabouts. Ah! Indeed it does! That flowery band gleaming on your finger gives you away! For it is identical to the one shown in the hand of the Miss Garrideb's wife in this photographic print. In other words, you are no ordinary household maid. No. You are Mr. Garrideb's lucky bride. You are Miss Garrideb herself. Oh my word! Well, gently fine detecting, sir. As you rightfully surmise, this is the wife. Yes, my Joan. Rather let herself go, you might say, but she was a bally corker bag. Ah! He deserves that one! It would appear that you don't live in the most comfortable of circumstances. After all, you are a retired army man, yet you are in the business of renting out rooms. I would assume, therefore, you have insufficient means to employ a maid. Would that be correct? That's not right, I tell you! I was 2nd Lieutenant of the 3rd Regiment! A man has his pride, don't you know? By golly, it's a sorry thing when a chap can't even afford to have a single maid in his employ. Yes, here in London, one is rather judged. A household cannot be considered worthy of society if it employs no staff at all. No, in my considered opinion, such concerns about appearances are a folly. You mean Mr. Garadeb has his wife work as his maid? Precisely. Am I right, Mr. Garadeb? Only in company, obviously. But listen here. This must remain a secret. Tip-top secret, please! The raging wife of Mr. Garadeb. Moving on to the next topic. It's really good to show deep feelings with this formidable beast. Oh my god. Mr. Shulman is quite something. He's still calling Mr. Garadeb's wife a beast. Yes, as a woman, that feels rather uncomfortable. But Miss Garadeb is standing beside her husband as we speak. In other words, he hasn't lost his beloved at all, has he? Oh, how true! So perhaps that supporting arm that seems to be propping up his head has some other significance then. According to Mr. Sholmes, Mr. Garadeb's pain is tangible, though. What could that pose of his really signify? The slapped cheek. There we go. Your head weighs heavy on your shoulders. The pain you feel being revealed by that slapped cheek. It's a massive handprint. And of course, the deliverer of that impressive mark on your cheek that refuses to fade. Was you, Madame Joan Garadeb. Well, yes. What's with her eyes? They're all girly. They all like little bubbly eyes. You have been desperate to hide the slap mark on your cheek, sir. Ah! How the blazes. How did you work that out, man? He's seeing from head on! He's intimidating from the head on! Nothing escapes the notice of one trained in the art of observation, my dear fellow. That's why you haven't looked directly at us, even once. Keep your other side from view. Well, Now, let us proceed to the next conundrum. Why were you subjected to such a violent slap? In other words, we must ask ourselves what caused Madame Garadeb to fly into a rage. His head is just a lunatone, then. Moving further in the direction of your gaze to find the answer. It's not the bills. This pile of bills has given rise to the pain you suffer. Didn't Mr. Sholmes say that the bills were all for lion fodder? Yes, but now we've established that the lion never existed. Which can only mean that the thing responsible for gobbling up all that food was Miss Garadeb's wife. Mr. Naruhado! She is a person, not a thing! Man, he is not getting good points, ladies' points today. Yes, well. She also approached to give her husband a mighty slap round the face. One so hard that it left a perfect hand mark, in fact. Yes, why would a woman want to hit her husband with such force, I wonder? I'd love to know the answer to that question. Well, that's what we're here to find out, you dingus. What's this? Oh. I'm actually reading this book here at the moment. There's a bookmark here. Mr. Garadeb is clearly an avid reader. Oh, wait a minute. I don't think this is a bookmark. Oh no, it isn't! It's a note written in a woman's hand. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. And look, thanks to the signature here. Lip marks, made with lipstick. Oh, what a passionate and romantic gesture. Who needs ladies when you're this based? Don't get any ideas, Sasato-san. Yeah, he ain't gonna be a gentleman. He just said, oh dear, I'm sorry. So this bookmark is actually a love note then.
Take that!
It's just this love note that's giving rise to the pain you suffer. Oh, James, I love you. Yours, Mary. Passionate indeed. Oh, she's angry! Look at her! Perhaps the sender of this note is a certain Miss Mary. Is the fly in the ointment here? Dude, shit! Look at her! She's gonna punch someone! Oh, God! She got him again! But I don't know the Bali woman! Dude, she got him again! You don't know her? That note wasn't written to me. It was just in the book. I don't know how it got there. It was just in there, you say. That's right, it's what I've been saying. Ah! God, she's a likely story. Now listen here, Joan, old thing. I explained at the time. I bought that book at the second-hand place, and that note must have already been in there. Dang, who... Freaking James had no class to leave that note there. So, the previous owner of the book was using it as a bookmark, you mean? That's right, that's what I've been saying! Ah! A likely story. For heaven's sake, woman, look at the name! It's written to James! My name, in case you've forgotten, is John! Ah! A likely story. Are you questioning my name now? Oh, God! And there we have it. Arouse the suspicions of the female heart, and you unleash a beast with the most ferocious bite. Ugh. Now, in a final fit of rage, the ferocious beast carry out one last unimaginable attack. Still calling her a beast! He still doesn't care. Unimaginable. The aftermath of which can be clearly seen by observing the carpet over there. An extensive woolen carpet, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, dearie me. Could have caused such a destructive outburst. Ah. Madam, I'm afraid it is you who has inadvertently revealed the truth to me. Your warning eyes settle upon the various greatly indeed. So explain the dire state of the carpet. Is it the Tower of Cakes? No. That's not it. But surely Mrs. Jaredem didn't eat the carpet! No, of course not! But there doesn't seem to be any doubt that the state of disarray that this room is in is a result of her wild temper. No, that's true. So this is the last part of Stroma's deduction that we need to fix. We need only to follow Miss Jaredem's gaze and what will tell us the real answer. Alright, let's see what we can see. Yes! No. You can't actually see. Nope, I was just... This looks like a very old candlestick, doesn't it? The base looks too small. Surely it's very unstable. It looks to me even the slightest knock would make it topple over. Oh dear, that would be dangerous. Wait, take a closer look at this. There's one candle missing. Yes, I didn't notice that before. Why is that, I wonder? Why is one of the candle of the three missing from its holder? I meant to hit the present button.
Take that!
Yes, to explain the dire state of this carpet, we need only look at the candlestick. He just takes over. Most illuminating, my dear fellow, and of course, the only possible way out of this logical labyrinth. Yes, the remnants of a ferocious attack in which the carpet was devoured are clearly visible. Indeed they are. The scorch marks at the edge clearly give the truth away. Now there's scorch marks. Scorch marks? Would appear that this room was the scene of a little marital altercation. Miss Jaredem's mighty arm muscles left an impression not only on her husband's face, but on the entire room. The force of her strike caused a candle to fall from the holder. And in seconds, the carpet was alight, and the whole corner of the room in flames. Yes. For the most ferocious beast in this world is neither a violent lion nor a vengeful woman, but fire. And in this room, that ferocious beast bared its claws and ran amok. Eloquently put, my dear fellow. So you see, there is but one conclusion here. They just spin around. After the sparks of marital discord flew, this room was the scene of a fire. Mr. Sholmes, sir. I salute you! Oh my god, he's falling over. Oh, she caught him. Solved. Elementary. Well, well, well. These dashed long winter nights, you know, nothing to do but read in front of the fire. Luckily, there's a jolly good secondhand bookshop just around the corner. Buy all my old novels there. In the pages of one particular novel, you discovered some rather illicit material. For which your wife admonished you harshly, it seems. Don't know about admonished. Demolish might be rather closer to the mark. And beast is most certainly an apt description. Here we go again. And the carpet? Was that destroyed by the fire when a candle fell on the floor? Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know? The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. It was caught between old Stick's rage and the raging flames. You paint a torrid picture, sir. One that would have been most entertaining. That's sympathy for you. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. Had to hide the mess behind that screen for the time being. Over there, Mr. Garradeb? Well, you have nothing more to hide now. If you'll allow me... All my favorite novels in that case. As soon as the fire got a hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, how about smoke? Gosh. And then the wife started hurling things at me. What a terrible sight it must have been. There was I, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books coming 10 to a dozen. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite. Book called The Lion's Pride. The Lion's Pride, ah yes. Your notorious love of big cats is coming through again. I assure you the title didn't influence my choice in the slightest. So the opponent really did lose something dear to him as a result of the ferocious beast's rampage. Video editing and life stuff. No, I understand. There, can be a little bit more. Mr. Sholmes' deductions turn out to be correct once again. After I fixed them! It can only be described as a great British wonder. There you go, total carnage. Flames everywhere, and the old stick in a full fiddle. Of interest. What time of day was that? Not sure I can remember. It was 2 days ago now. Let's see. Around 5 o'clock, I think. So exactly at the same time, was a terrifying incident that was unfolding outside your window in the street below. You're more terrifying on the inside, I can assure you. Whole Blighty could have been flattened outside my window at that moment, and I wouldn't have noticed a dashed thing. Oh. Really? Oh, she's called Joan now, not Maid. Now, Mr. Sholmes. Yes, Mr. Naruhodo, what can I do for you? Well, I think we've got the bottom of Mr. Garradeb's situation now. What does it have to do with Mr. Natsume's circumstances? I can't help you there, I'm afraid. What? My dear fellow, if you recall, I did say as much from the outset. I warned you that although I knew the retired army man to be hiding something, I could not be sure whether the secret would prove to be of relevance or not. I just knew you were going to say that. Now, Mr. Naruto, you mustn't lose heart. Bear in mind that all things fall into one of only two categories: those relative to the case and those not. That makes no sense to me. Well, no matter. It is of far greater importance that you make up your mind now. Sorry? Visiting hours at the prison will be soon over. Oh no, is that time already? If we are to accept Mr. Natsume's case, we have the official paperwork to attend to. So that's it. No more time to think. Perhaps you'd like to betake yourselves to bidding us farewell now? I must prepare supper for Mr. Jaredeb. Oh yes, I'm so sorry. Thank you both very much for your time. Soseki-san will be waiting for us, and I'm going to have to give him an answer. Wait, this isn't the prison? It's time, Mr. Naruto. Go straight back to the prison. You know, let's hear a care. Oh. What's the matter? Looks like something's going on over there from front of the Jaredeb's house. Face. What the heck are you? I know thee not, old man. Fall to thy prayers. Who you call an old man, you rum-looking nimmy-pimmy? Is that freaking Popeye the Sailor Man? There are things in heaven and earth, Haruto, that are dreamt of in your philosophy. Who is this Haruto fella? What are you on about? I should probably try to talk to... Excuse me. Yeah, what the... Who are you now? Well, blow me down. I'm sorry, just as though there might be some problem here. And my associate here, Mr. Ryanosuke Naruto, is a lawyer, you see. Eh, a lawyer? What? If I can be of any assistance, I'd be happy to help. I'm from Japan, but I have studied English law. British Popeye, oh no. Fine, I'm on my way for today, but you mark me words. It ain't over yet. What is that pose? Get thee to a nunnery. My nose is just congested. I can't do these voices. Do I look like a bloomin' nun to you? That face. I hate it. Keep your hands away from her, sir. I do hope you're not injured. Oh, fair Eastern maiden, thou art so gentle, thank you. What was that all about? There are more things in heaven and earth, Haruto, Horateo, that are dreamt of than your philosophy. I'm not Horateo either. Forgive the inquiry, sir, but are you a lodger here at the Jaredeb residence? Oh, face and maiden, thou art so right. I do dwell in this humble abode. Mr. Jaredeb mentioned he had another lodger, didn't he? Supposed to be the man. Yeah, but the other lodger who lives on the first floor. Ah, yes, a gentleman named Natsume. Oh, more worthy a polemist in my battle of words near there could be. Sorry, battle, did you say? Who is the stronger, Hamlet or Macbeth? Mr. Natsume and I have sparred long into the night. I see. I don't fully understand, but it seems Mr. Natsume and this gentleman are acquaintances, at least. So fair maiden, good, so good gentleman. I can tarry here no longer. Fare thee well! Horatio? Oh. Is that, oh, that's that word. I've never seen it written before, so I didn't actually know. I didn't really understand him, but I think he's returned to his room. Seems he's unaware of what happened to Mr. Natsume, so he can't really help us. So with Soseki-san and that man in the lodgers, the Jaredeb house is certainly full of eccentrics. Anyway, I'll go and find a carriage. Yes, I'm sure Mr. Natsume is eagerly awaiting our return. Let's hope we can get to the prison before visiting hours are over. Hello. Suzuki. No, not this guy yet. Oh, it's you! You're here! You came! Welcome, student Mr. Naruhado Esquire! I can't believe you came back! I'm so touched! You're so sorry to keep you waiting, Mr. Natsumi. Oh no, this isn't nothing. Relax. If I were a cat, I would purr with pleasure at the company of such fine compatriots. Noble, nurturing, never-failing Nipponese! I hate how good his animation is. Oh, now, let's not get carried away. Oh, I quite agree. I'm guessing this is Dracula. There's nothing more assuring than the familiarity of one's native land. On the other hand... Oh no, it's freaking Sholmes. I'm like, okay, it's one of two people. It's Dracula or it's Dr. Sholmes. Then it's Sholmes. Forget that. It is through friendship transcending internal borders that one truly appreciates the fact. I just didn't think to see Sholmes again so soon. Sorry about that. I don't know what brought that on. Yeah, I'm good. I just don't know what triggered the cough. Maybe it's just the voices. No, I'm good. I'm good. I just took the moment to try and clear my nose, too. Making all the voices, it makes it hard to breathe through my nose. It is through friendship transcending international borders that one truly appreciates the fact. Such is my belief, at least. He's shaking the thing. Oh, yes, it's you! The miserable, rotten spy! Herlock Sholmes! Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing? Hell, he posed for his introduction. Mr. Sholmes, what are you doing here? I have no intention of doing anything, per se. Save observing, of course. Whatever do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Well, having encountered some curious reading material in that gloomful room, and having unmasked the secret identity of that eccentric pair, I decided I should drop in on my way home to see how our divested friend is faring. Gloomful room. At least your accommodation here offers a window, my dear fellow. In that sense, it is a superior option. Anyway, I must commend you on your taste in books. My day has been made a delight, and it cost me not a penny. Ah, you! How dare you, Herlock Sholmes! I've had it. I'm through. I'm at the end of my rope. I should never have come to Great Britain. It was a terrible mistake. I'll probably charge him for the window. Haunted by the spirits of those accursed lodgings, no doubt my luck will be accursed in tomorrow's trial as well. My whole life is bedamned! Is that how you say that? Don't look at me like that, please. What are you thinking, Mr. Naruhado? He mentioned that once before, didn't he? That his lodgings were cursed, I mean? I don't know, it's been a week. And there's much truth. There's some mustache's words. What? Cursed is a wholly appropriate description, I would say, for the man's lodgings. And indeed for tomorrow's trial. What's that supposed to mean? Mr. Natsumi, what did you mean by what you said just now? I'm proud of my being cursed. No, why are you looking so grave? You're making me nervous. I'm just getting carried away, that's all. I didn't mean anything by it. Oh, I see. It's really agitated him. You don't mean the trial really is cursed somehow? Are you referring to the prosecutor, the Reaper of the Bailey? The Reaper? Oh no, what do you mean? Please tell me. Summarize it succinctly in 16 silent words. No defendant has ever survived a trial in which the Reaper stands for the prosecution. Ever. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. He did sum it up in 16 words. Oh my goodness, can it really be true? That was 16 words exactly! Yesterday, Mr. Naruhito successfully defended someone against the Reaper. But then, after the trial was over, the defendant passed away in unusual circumstances. Mr. McGillahead. What? You're trying to haiku poet. Ah, I am impressed, Miss Suzato. You have an eye for detail. Actually, the Lord Chief Justice told us. Mr. Sholmes. Surely it can't be that having failed to have the accused convicted, Lord Van Zieks killed the man himself. Oh no, he couldn't have, surely. You have some wonderful notions. Sorry? The man isn't a mass murderer, he's a court prosecutor, my dear fellow. Oh, yes. Why, of course he is. Oh, of course he is, then! Why are you trying to scare me? It could be said, however, that the real truth about the man is even more terrifying than your hypothesis. What on earth do you mean by that? The Reaper. Van Zieks is quite an exceptional man, however, in London courts of law. Exceptional does not equate to winning every case without exception. Ah, that's good. So he looks like he's going to cry tears of joy. As you are no doubt aware, in the British criminal trial, there is both a judge and a jury. The judge officiates based on the letter of the law, whilst the jury offers public opinion and common sense. It is an excellent system whereby the defendant's code is considered from several points of view. However, public opinion, in particular, is somewhat easily manipulated. Right. Criminals and corrupt lawyers, for that matter, can use it to their advantage, by any means at their disposal. Contriving evidence, calling imposters as witnesses, and so on. By such underhanded means, those who want to are able to sway the jury, which means that even in the light of irrefutable evidence, the prosecution can fail. But that means the wrong verdict can get passed. And sadly, is from time to time, my dear madam. It is simply the reality of the situation. And that's alright. However, those indicted by the Lord Van Zieks cannot escape justice. Their fate is sealed. Oh my. Though the judiciary may see them leave the courtroom with their freedom, within months they all disappear. It is most striking. Disappear? But how? Ah, by all manner of misfortune, sir. Perhaps they are trampled under a passing carriage. Perhaps they fall into the Thames and drown. Perhaps they are suddenly overcome by a raging fever. Perhaps they are attacked by highwaymen. Oh, no. All examples of the reality of events here in London, I'm afraid, Mr. Naruhito. Oh my god. I knew it. I'm a dead doo-doo, done for, doomed! When you said accursed lodgings before, you were referring to your room in Mr. Garrett's house, I assume. You believe the place is cursed? It's been a year now since I came to Great Britain. I'd only been in London a week before I started. There were strange feelings in myself. It didn't take long then. Everywhere I looked, there were foreign faces staring at me, laughing behind my back. Now, I was sure people were talking about me. I started to become nervous about going outside. Oh, staring at me all the time, from dawn until dusk. So I sent myself away into my room. And even that didn't help. The fear wouldn't go away. You must have been very lonely, having been away from your homeland for such a long time. I remember times I was recently to that room on Briar Road a week ago now. Yes, why did you choose there? It seems a little inconvenient. They're into sheep. I have so little money, it appealed to me straight away. Huh? Okay. Alright. Welcome. Take care of that. Of course, I asked why it was so affordable. The landlord just simpered and said, yeah, calm down. The room is cursed. Whoops! Well, there you go. I love it. The groom is cursed. Oops. Oops. Cursed. He quickly tried to cover his mistake, but it was too late. So I told him. If you have something to say, then say it. But if not, don't mention it in the first place. Yes. Well said. But it was true. It was all true. You mean the room really is cursed? First I moved to that windowless hellhole. I've even been plagued with nightmares. I wake feeling as though I'm being choked to death. In my waking hours, people were stabbed in front of me as I walked down the street. I'm ready to kill her. Throw her in prison. Nobody wants to know me. I'm surrounded by scary, sinister spirits. There was someone, just one person on my side. Can no one find it in his or her heart to believe in me? Really no one at all? To believe. Yes, to believe. To believe. Mr. Sholmes. Ah, me, Mr. Naruto. Pray, what the hell, what can I do for you? It's about the case of this SS Bureau, if you recall. The Bureau. Ah, that case. The one with the snake. Sure. Well, yes. At the time, I was the suspect, but you believed in me and listened to my side of the story. You helped us to investigate. I did I? Interesting. What I want to know is, why? Why did you believe me? I see, yes, you mean. Because you were a grimly dressed, shady Eastern fellow found with the victim in a locked room. Well, if you like, yes. I'm a little surprised that the answer requires explanation, my dear fellow. It's quite simple, really. You said, I didn't do it. But I could have been lying. Sure, you must have had your doubts. You must have suspected me a little. Well, yeah, he figured us first. Maybe perhaps you have misunderstood. I neither recall believing in you, nor in that which you were telling me. What? I'm confused. You see, the only things I believe in are those I choose to believe in. What? What do you mean, Mr. Sholmes? Yeah, I'm kind of confused, too. I make up my own mind about what is to be believed and what is not. If I should like to believe in something, I do. The circumstances can hang as far as I'm concerned. But I could have betrayed your trust. In that case, I should have made an elementary error. I should have made an elementary error of judgment, nothing more. Betrayal of trust is an overused excuse, in my opinion. Meaning, whether or not one should trust another, or trust another is, in the final analysis, down to oneself. It's a matter of whether or not one can trust oneself. Yes, he's right. He's right! Locum student Mr. Naruto Esquire. Why do you call me? Whether or not I can believe in myself. A defense lawyer is only as good as his faith in his client. And that comes down to how much faith he has in himself. Ah, the boy. You are so right, Kazuma. Well, my dear fellows, it is time we were leaving, I believe. Already? Visiting hours are over. The guard will be here shortly to escort us out. There's a restaurant near here that serves excellent trout. Would you care to join me? He wants to leave. Oh dear. There's never enough time, is there? Mr. Natsume, if you like, in the trial tomorrow, I'd be happy to represent you. He's crying. Locum student, Mr. Naruhito, Esquire. As I said, I only experienced the British courtroom for the first time yesterday, and although the man I was representing was found not guilty, I lost sight of something crucial. Something crucial? What to believe in? The defendant, justice, or the truth? How to believe, even. But I think I finally worked it out. I decided I must believe in myself above all else, to trust my instincts. Yes, Mr. Naruhito. And my instincts are telling me that you, Mr. Natsume, are innocent of this crime. And it's imperative that we prove that in court. Locum student, Mr. Naruhito, Esquire. I will fight for your innocence until the bitter end, with every weapon available to me. So I hope you'll permit me to represent you tomorrow. As I said when we first met, I'd like to entrust my fate to someone who will listen to me in my native tongue. Of course, Mr. Natsume. It would be fair to say, Mr. Naruhito, that your mind was in many ways made up from the outset. You merely needed the events of today to fully realize it. Yes, I think you're right about that. It's been a roundabout journey, but I got there in the end. Well, that's good to hear, I guess. It's good to hear. Ms. Suzato. Yes? Would you be willing to stand by my side tomorrow and help me in court? Why would you say no? Absolutely! As I said this morning, you may consider me your personal judicial assistant. I wasn't already? She has the great big book of everything in her pocket. The shocking events of yesterday's trial still weigh heavily on my mind. But it's time to stop looking backwards. Kazuma believed in me, and Mr. Sholmes believes in me now, too. So it's time. Time that I learned to believe in myself. So Uzaki-san has no one. He's all alone, so it's my job to help him, to fight his corner. Tomorrow in the courtroom. With all the strength I can muster. But we didn't learn anything. To be continued. But first, Pepsi. And that thing fuzzes a lot. Save time. The power of Pepsi Nitro will propel us through this terrible trial. After a nice evening of trout, it is time to get in there at the Old Bailey. Man, we're early today. Well, I never expected this. I did. Who'd have thought to be back here again so soon? We are on a study tour of Great Britain, with the intention of learning the country's legal practices. In order to research the latest court procedures here, we need as much court experience as possible. I'm glad to have given it to you. Well, yes, I suppose that's true, but... As for the person on the dock, it may well be his or her one and only time in court, and it could be life-changing. Which treating his research may seem like a little crass. Oh, when you put it like that, you're quite right. Good morning! Here he is. Mr. Natsume, good morning. Oh dear, are you alright? Your eyes are terribly bloodshot. The early bird catches the worm, as they say here in Britain. Yes, I've heard that expression. I really don't want to catch a worm. I tried so desperately not to wake up early, but I was so worried I couldn't catch a wink. No, I'm actually exhausted as a result. Do all literary people think things so literally? Thank you for putting your faith in us today, Mr. Natsume. I wish I had 9 lives. My whole future hangs in the balance. I'm too terrified to tremble. But he's trembling just fine. Really? Because I can feel tremors in the floor. I can't do this. I can't take it. Although, locum student Mr. Naruhado Esquire. Yes. I caught a glimpse of the public gallery as I walked by the courtroom. Looked like the opening night of an opera. There were so many people. I had no idea my case was such a notorious affair here in London. Sorry. I shouldn't have muted the mic. Oh, neither did I. Do you know why that might be, Miss Susato? Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Naruhado, but I have no idea. So that all-knowing look in your face is just confidence then, is it? Look at that look on her face, like, just a big grinning smile. I have no idea. Don't hide the truth from me. It's because of the Reaper, isn't it? Lord Van Zeeks? Is that right, Miss Susato? I purchased as many different newspapers as I could find this morning, and yes, Lord Van Zeeks is on the front page of every one. I knew it. After the prosecutor was dubbed as the Reaper of the Bailey, he stopped appearing in court, it seems. It's been several years now, in fact, until the day before yesterday. Yes, Mr. Grayson told us something similar, didn't he? The trial 2 days ago marked Lord Van Zeek's return to the courtroom after a very long hiatus. The trial of Magnus McGillahead. Ugh, what a harrowing experience that was. I believe that appearance made even greater waves here in the capital than today's. But we wouldn't have realized, of course, having only just arrived in the country. Why is the Reaper back in the Bailey so soon, for what appears to be a mundane murder? That's the question the papers are asking, and they are all speculating various answers. Mundane! Mundane is the most significant saga of the century to some of us! Oh dear, I meant no offense, Mr. Natsume, but that is how the papers are describing it. Well, lest we also forget the fact that it could spark an international incident. Obviously, the appearance of this infamous prosecutor has caught the people's attention. But there's another blatant similarity with the trial of 2 days ago. How do you know? Yes, I agree. Locum student Mr. Naruhado Esquire. It's you! Me? Well, I suppose that's true. Both times, it is you who stands against this legendary prosecutor. It can only mean that you're friends with the Reaper! Please, I don't rub shoulders with Deathbringers. I'm afraid that there's really only one other explanation. It would be another example, Mr. Naruhado, your uncommon bad luck. Thanks for that. Oh, this is just my luck. What must have been really such a man such a frail fortune? By the least lucky lawyer alive! But I won. Well, let's not forget that it was you, Mr. Natsume, who asked for me to represent you. Yes, it's true that I'm just a student new to London with little in the way of experience or skills, or luck, but I promise you this. I will fight your corner until the bitter end, and I will believe in you, Mr. Natsume. Oh, benevolent locum student, Mr. Naruhado Esquire! You're not alone here with us, Mr. Natsume. Whatever happens, we will always be on your side. Oh, benevolent non-locum student attendant, Miss Mikatoba Esquirus. Wait, what? Was an Esquirus? That's not a real word, is it? I'm in your debt forever! I shall never forget this great kindness for as long as I live. Mr. Natsume, counsel for the defense. The court session is about to begin. Kindly make your way to the courtroom at once. We suck, but at least we try. That's our tagline. I said, Mr. Natsume, it's time. Let's go. Yes! Let's get going. This is it. My second appearance in the British courtroom. My second trial against the Reaper. I hope you're watching over me, Kazuma. He ain't got nothing better to do. He's dead. Because this time I won't let my faith waver. I'll believe in my client to the last. Just like you believed in me. I believe I can do this now. I'm ready for this fight. Sorry. Pepsi. We talked for 40 minutes in that room? It was only a couple of sentences. Oh, wait, who's up there? In the name of Her Majesty the Queen, I hereby declare this court to be in session. I now call upon the counsel for the prosecution and the defense to declare their willingness to proceed. How many trials are normally in this game? Well, there's normally 5 episodes each game, and we're in episode 4 right now. So, there's probably one more case left in this game. But since the Great Ace Attorney Chronicles is 2 games in 1, we're only just about done with the first game, if that makes sense. There's normally 4 to 5 episodes depending on the length of the game. I mean, in a way, we're only halfway through. It goes by quickly. Unless we have a really, really long final case, like it's possible. The first 3, it feels super slow because we're only just... It didn't take till case 3 for us to finally do our first real trial in court. So it just, you know... But there's a lot that goes into this, so... Okay. The prosecution is fully prepared, my lord. The defense is ready, my lord. The Nipponese are a truly fascinating breed. Sorry, what? Lord Strongheart has told me all about you. That you are a student who arrived in London but 2 days ago, a mere amateur. Do you have a point? Being a compatriot, you feel compelled to try and help the accused, I suppose. Typical Nipponese arrogance. Forgive me, but I do not believe arrogance is an appropriate description. Sasatosan? She's gonna tell the vampire. After all, at our previous encounter, the defendant was found to be innocent. We're just gonna argue back and forth a little bit. It's very true, and a most fascinating, if dark, trial it was, too. The tragic conclusion came later, of course. Here's to the acquitted, and his unfortunate, violent end. Wait, I recognize some of those people up there. Thank you, counsels! I see both sides are in fine fiddle. If you want to call it that, sure. Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, are you ready to carry out your duties here in the court as impartial members of the public? Attorney, you initiate banter! You never know when you might be down on your luck, but I believe in fair play for everyone. It's the freaking banker from the last case! Who are you, lady? Well, I must warn you, I'm rather more ruthless than I appear. I would have to say, why do you look familiar to me, though? Something about those eyes. Oh, well, not me. What you see is what you get. I'm a peace-loving fellow. I'm afraid to say I think it's quite possible that the mustache foreigner did the deed. It's you! Why are you here? Come on, what are we waiting for? I doubt he did it anyway. Santa Claus? Sorry, didn't quite catch that. Are you the husband of the old woman from yesterday? What? Man. Very well, let us proceed. Your opening statement, if you please, Lord Van Zeeks. Very recently, in Great Britain, signed an alliance with the rising power in the Far East. Santa in 2 different styles. That's true, we have a lot of Santa Clauses. Hold on, my nose is really backing up. Oh, sorry. was hoping Popeye was going to Dracula stand and Abraham Lincoln. Oh, I have the feeling that this trial is going to be a two-parter. Like, I feel like this is going to be a long case. They already established extra characters right before the trial started with those two fighting in the street. The accused in the dock today is a student from that same land, a certain Mr. Sazoki Nasume. This might as well be Metopia. And while our country has extended this foreign student with the warmest of welcomes, regrettably, the kindness has not been returned. In fact, the student is accused of a most sinister act. Fasha! It's of plunging a knife into the back of an innocent woman who was doing nothing but walking down the street. A knife crime? I tell you from bitter experience, those are the worst. Bloody oath they are. Just look at that swallow complexion and short stature. He's one of those dreadful Japanese. Oh God, he's racist. She's racist. She's pretty, but she's racist. It's bad. Get her out of here. I can't stand racism. Racism must be destroyed. I'm glad I remembered to turn the mic back on. I was worried I forgot. Come on, let's get this over with. With me, number one. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, sorry. Didn't quite catch that.
Surrounded by idiots. Pray forgive the discourtesy. I'm smashing my hallowed chalice here in this great chamber. Again. Allow me to call the first witness to the stand.
Very well. Bailiff, lead the inspector in, please.
Oh, it's the... Okay, we gotta do our synopsis. Hello. Is your name and occupation, please?
Yes, sir. Tobias Gregson, Detective Inspector at Scotland Yard.
Would you please summarize the events of the case for the court, Inspector?
The victim is thought to be a young woman in her 20s by the name of Olive Green. I beg your pardon, Inspector. Thought to be.
Yes, having been stabbed in the back by her attacker's knife, the victim fell unconscious. That was 3 days ago now, and she's been comatose ever since. What? So they don't even know who she is for sure?
Comatose, I see. But her life is not in danger.
Fortunately for the Eastern student, the charge will not be murder. Pray elaborate on the details, Inspector.
Sir, if I could ask everyone to look at this street map.
Okay. Look at this map.
As I mentioned, the incident took place 3 days ago, around 5 in the afternoon.
Calabash, what a name.
Happened on the pavement running alongside Briar Road with a wide thoroughfare for horse-drawn vehicles.
Had not been long since stopped snowing as the victim, Miss Green, was walking down the street. Out of the blue, she was approached from behind by the accused and stabbed in the back. Is this what these guys are storing his fries in? Imagine! Luckily, the young lady's life was spared, and she's currently being treated in one of the city's hospitals. But being unconscious as she is, we've been able to take a statement for her, of course. This is the case file with everything we know about the victim so far. At least it's not an autopsy report.
Thank you, Inspector. Of course, we'll accept the documents and evidence, if you please.
What is the weapon that was used?
Sir, I have that here. It was removed from the victim's back.
No, it's a switch knife. I have one of those right here. This big thing is starting to be scared to walk down the street now. The evidence, if you would. With a heavy blade like that, almost anybody would have been able to stab the poor woman. Even the scragged-looking Sozaki-san, I suppose.
A common or garden jackknife, I would say. Rather nondescript.
Oh, that's what they're called, a jackknife.
Thank you, Inspector. The court accepts the blade as evidence.
A large but commonplace folding knife, yeah.
Now then, what do we know of the motive? Money or valuables, I presume? From what we can tell by looking at the woman's possessions, it seems like she's a poor student herself. Hard to imagine she would have had anything much worth pension to lord. I see. Well, in that case, are we looking at some deep-seated resentment towards the victim? I'm afraid I couldn't say. Apart from visiting second-hand bookshops, the defendant, Mr. Natsumi, doesn't appear to get out much. At this moment in time, we haven't been able to establish any sort of connection between him and the victim.
Yes!
Why did I yell? Why am I raising my hand? If theft and grievance had been ruled out as the motive, what reason could Mr. Natsumi possibly have had for stabbing the young woman? Yet you're arresting the man in spite of that in a totally unjustified and heavy-handed way.
Objection!
Uh-oh. Oh, God. Oh! What did you... Ah! Dude, what is he on? Pray, forgive the discourtesy of flinging a freshly uncorked bottle into the public gallery. Bottle flip challenge fail. He hit some poor pedestrian. But your words have soured its hallowed boutique. He's high on racism. For it is you, my learned friend, who is being heavy-handed here. What? Scotland Yard does not arrest people without good cause. That should be beyond question. Inspector Gregson, the prosecution calls for your formal testimony. Explain to the court precisely why the contributory came to arrest the Nipponese student. Yes, sir. He's testifying with his snack. As I said, it was 5 o'clock in the afternoon when the incident occurred, and there was an unusually light fog. Visibility was reasonably good, and there was no one else but the victim and the accused. Out of the blue, the victim was stabbed from behind and subsequently collapsed on the pavement. The accused ran off, scattering his belongings all over the floor. Those being a number of old books he just bought. He was on his way home from a bookshop, I guess, it seems. Just a matter of working out who the books belonged to, and we found the bloke to arrest him. That's not a very good reason. Old books, you say? Throw him in jail! Yes, my lord, I have a photograph here of the scene of the crime taken immediately after the incident. Ah, yes, I can clearly see the books to which you are referring. What if they were her books? I will take that photographic print as evidence, please, Inspector. You Nipponese are a spineless breed, too cowardly to admit defeat. Denying everything despite overwhelming evidence to the contrary. Well, forgive me, Lord Van Seeks, but the defendant is not denying everything, as you put it. What are you doing, Miss Suzato? Let her lawyer. She's better at it than I am. Do go on. Mr. Natsumi has admitted to playing some part in the incident. Isn't that right, Mr. Naruhado? Well, now that you mention it. We visited him in the prison yesterday. He did tell us what all had happened. As I was walking along that accursed pavement, I could make out the sole silhouette of another ahead of me. A woman wearing a green overcoat, she was, and she wanted to overtake her. She suddenly let out a scream and collapsed into the cold, hard slabs of stone at my feet. I was terrified. I had to get away from there. So I ran as fast as my legs would carry me back to my accursed lodgings. A green overcoat. Well, that's exactly what the woman in the print is wearing. Oh my, a photographic print in full color. What will the world come up with next? The defendant has done nothing more than admit he fled the scene of a terrifying incident. It does not mean he's guilty of the heinous crime of stabbing the woman in the back. There was nobody else there at the time, just the two of them, the victim and the accused. In other words, there is nobody else who could possibly have stabbed the woman. In fact, that the accused concedes. Ugh. Huh. Seems that this cross-examination could prove to be pivotal, counsel. Proceed, please. If you dare. Yes, my lord, nothing for it. Have to use this cross-examination to turn the tables here. It's our only chance. I want your snack, sir. Alright. Well, usually in detective things, it's just pressing for information. So let's just go ahead and press. A light fog, you say? Well, light for London. You can see the opposite side of the street for once. Not much farther, though. That's light, is it? Around these parts, yes. Not something I expect a Japanese fellow like yourself to know, of course. Okay. Thanks for the racism. I've heard that London is famous for its fog. But in my country, people usually imagine it gives the city a rather beautiful appearance. How quaint. Yes, well, it's not something us Londoners tend to romanticize, as I expect you can appreciate. I see. But you're the fog causes a large number of accidents, especially when it's heavy. Sometimes you can't even see your own hand at the end of your arm. Indeed, the other day, I was very nearly trampled by horses before I could even see the carriage they were pulling. Ugh, so that's a sign I should definitely remember to stop, look, and listen. However, as on this day that concerns us, the fog was somewhat lighter than unusual. In fact, no doubt, eliminated by the accused. Okay, go on. How are you able to state that with any certainty? It's quite simply, my learned friend, because that is what the witnesses to this crime have told us. Ah, yes, Inspector Grayson mentioned the witnesses yesterday, didn't he? That's right. One of them is a policeman, I believe, from Scotland Yard. That is correct, ma'am. Stop. We must hear their testimony. The prosecution will, of course, call them to the stand, should it be necessary. But wait a minute. At 5 o'clock in the afternoon, the middle of the winter, it would have been dark already. No matter how light the fog might have been, no one could have seen. 9 months aware of the situation on your tiny island in the east. But here in the capital city of Great Britain, all main roads are illuminated in the night by the gas streetlights. Ah! The prosecution believes that there would have been ample light by which to witness to the crime. Good! Here in London, for the first time in history, mankind has completely conquered the darkness. Which means we really need to hear those witnesses' statements. If I could just get through the fog of the cross-examination, maybe we will be able to. It seems the counsel for the defense is taking stock. Continue with your testimony, Inspector. Alright, so let's see. From behind, you say. So that's right, as you can see from this print. Yes, quite so, Inspector. The handle of the weapon is clearly protruding from the victim's back. And you say this poor woman, Miss Green, remains in critical condition. Comatose, no less. I'm afraid so, my lord. Yes, she's being treated at Bart's. I was hopeful that she'd come around before the trial started so I could take a statement, but it wasn't to be. Yes, that is indeed a pity. It would have been most illuminating to hear the victim's own account of the events. Look is on your client's side, it seems. On the contrary, my client has been exceedingly unlucky. Your force of tone has seized the mind by those disturbingly wide eyes, I'm afraid. User blah blah blah. I don't need to hear that. I need to read it. Mr. Natsumi's belongings. I think you'll find it. It's all there in the photographic print of the crime scene. We are sure these are his books. He has 3 books on the floor. That's right, my lord. Second-hand books. They were irreparably damaged by the fall in the snow, of course. The accused could have easily carried all 3 books in one hand. Which means his other hand would have been free to wield a knife, for example. He's very clever, isn't he? What do you mean? He's made it extremely hard for you to assert that Mr. Natsumi had his hands full with his books.
He's managed to close one avenue of escape we might have had before we even knew it was there.
You mean to say the defendant was holding his belongings as he thrust the knife into the woman's back?
That must be what happened, my lord. Yes.
Hold it!
Alright. The defendant apparently visits a secondhand bookshop on a daily basis.
Yes, I understand.
Shop full of old English literature. I commend the accused on the lofty subject matter of his scholarly attention. The bloke's room was stacked floor to ceiling with those musty old books. Can you tell us more about the bookshop in question, please, Inspector?
Well, if I must,
I'll have to ask you to look at the street map again, I'm afraid. The closest secondhand shop to the lodging place is here. Bourbon Books. Bourbon Books! A little place on the corner of Briar Road and Mershazam Street. Mershazam Street? As it happens, the accused currently living in the lodgings the other side of Briar Road at the opposite end. Which means it doesn't take a genius to work out the route he would have taken home. Something like this. Okay, well that's helpful at least. I got some information. Alright, Melch, you have a good one.
Yes, I concur with your conclusion, Inspector. The man would certainly have passed the scene of the crime on his way home from that particular shop.
So Naruhado, I think that's what the inspector just told us could turn out to be of vital importance. Yes, I agree. The most important point that the inspector just made being bookshop's location. The crucial detail in which you just told the court, Inspector, is the location of the bookshop.
I couldn't agree more.
So, where is it exactly? Wait, what? Eh? Ah, you wind me up, sunshine. I just explained that. The map out and everything. We used red, bloom, and ink, and I drew the Blues Road home for you.
And I distinctly remember seeing you nod along, Counsel.
Wait. Oh, well, yes, of course. I must have been so nervous I didn't take it in. Wait, what? The blunder of the day goes to you, my learned friend. No, not yet. The trial's only just begun after all. Dog. Mr. Naruhado, I would strongly advise you to look carefully through the court record at this stage. Yes, miss. At once, miss. Sorry, I made a mistake, miss. Inspector, continue with your testimony, please. Oh my gosh. Well, let's see. Okay, hang on. Give me a sec. I gotta take care of the dog. She's super loud. Yeah, I'm coming. There's nothing to bark at. Get in here. Boy, come on. How do you always get underneath you? Hold on, I have them changing. Sorry about that. Okay, so the location was the east side of the road, which would be the right side. Right? Right. Your books, okay. Hold on. I misunderstood what he was saying anyway. Okay. Ow, Canilla. The bookshop's name. Mr. Grayson, may I ask you a favor? What? Would you kindly add the name of the bookshop to your formal testimony, please? I believe it may be of vital importance. Maybe. Oh, well, you know. I mean, yes, it could be a very important clue.
Very well, not that I can see it being of any great significance. But please revise your testimony accordingly, Inspector.
Yes, sir, my lord. Whatever you say. Could the man be any more sardonic? I don't even know what that word means. He's on the way home from Bourbon Books, a secondhand shop he apparently patronizes. How do you say it? Well, here we go. The only piece of evidence we do have. If I could just stop you there, Inspector Grayson. Well, it's a sunshine, I'm a busy man, you know. This is a receipt we found in Mr. Natsume's room. It was issued on the day of the incident, and details the purchase of 3 secondhand books. And you found that out in the accused room, didn't you? Yes, but the point is not where the receipt was found, but the name of the shop printed on it. Go on. This receipt was issued from a bookshop called Your Books.
Your Books? Y-O-U-R, I presume.
Yes, my lord. So Mr. Natsume did indeed purchase a number of books at a secondhand shop that day. However, the bookshop in question was not Bourbon Books. What?
Inspector, do you know of this other bookshop?
Yes, sir. Your Books is another secondhand shop not far from Bourbon Books. It's just that, well, it's such a small place, I didn't think the accused would have known about it.
Objection!
But in fact, that is the bookshop which the defendant visited on the day in question. And this receipt proves it.
Objection!
Yes, for what difference it makes. Wherever the man purchases musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis.
Objection!
I disagree! I mean, after all, we have the street lamp here, if that might be of help. Yes, thank you. Have a look at this, please. If any of it had been returning from Bourbon Books, then yes, it would almost certainly pass where Miss Green was attacked. However, if we take into account the fact that he was actually at another bookshop, Your Books, it may very well turn out that he wouldn't have passed by that location at all. Could that be true? My, it rather depends on where this other bookshop is, but I do declare it may be a possibility. Is that right, Mr. Loyal Sir? What you just said? Absolutely. It absolutely could be right. Yeah, okay, true, but who cares? Victor Grayson, where is this Your Books establishment? Sorry. Well, yeah, obviously we looked into that. Where is it? Turns out that Your Books is just here on the next corner of Mearsham Street going east. Look at map information updated. And there you have it. As you can clearly see now. Oh. My little Nepalese friend is obviously in training to be a clown in the way he regales us with such witticisms. To your future career in the circus. You put that glass down now, or I'll put it down for you. Yeah, you tell him, Sasato! She's so mad! They're just gonna fight! Freaking Dracula versus the Sasato takedown. Here we go! I didn't think I needed to spell it out, but here we go. If the accused was coming home from Your Books instead of Bourbon Books, no talk me, I'm angry. He still would have taken the same path. There's no doubt he still would have passed the place where the victim was stabbed. But it's also possible he just went the other way. Save himself. It's not required to go that way.
Thank you, Inspector.
Allow me to iterate for my learned, if somewhat slow, Nipponese friend. Sash! Wherever the man purchases his musty tomes, it makes no difference in the final analysis. He did say that. Oh, blast into the wall! Man, that's a far way back. So I suspected you can't fool me, and I don't suggest you try. There's the ring. What'd you say? Yeah, enough of this now.
I beg your pardon? Terribly sorry. Would you mind repeating that?
Mr. Naruhado, you mustn't give up. What do you mean? The prosecution's assertion is correct. The members of the jury may well decide that Mr. Natsumi is guilty. Ah, she's absolutely right. You must think. You must consider the assertion just put forward by the prosecution very, very carefully. They claim Suzaki-san must have passed the location of the incident on his way home from your books, but raise an objection. Just do it. The assertion just made by the prosecution is fundamentally flawed.
Explain yourself, counsel.
Yes, my lord. You can see what I mean on the snap. When returning from your books to his lodgings, Mr. Natsumi could have followed the route suggested by the prosecution. However, that isn't the only conceivable route to take between the two places. If the defendant used these streets, look what happens. He arrives back at his lodgings without passing the location where the victim was attacked. But that's... Talking back to a clown is a fool's errand, of course. However, I feel compelled to point out that... that route is what is commonly referred to as the long way round. On the cold winter's night, why would any man choose to take a longer route home? Well, the answer is extremely simple. He wouldn't. In other words, the accused took the obvious route back to his lodgings and is the obvious perpetrator of the crime.
Objection.
But! Yes, I've got it. Obviously, you must ask the man himself. Ask Mr. Natsumi which route he took home. He just... I have already informed the court of the accused response to such questioning. He claims he has no recollection. That's right. As I said, the bloke seems to spend his time outside wandering aimlessly from A to B. That day was no exception. He says he doesn't remember where he was or which route he took home. I don't believe this! I thank you, my learned friend, and suggest that we do not waste any more of the court's time by wandering aimlessly around the subject. Pray, what say you, insightful jurors? But even if that is the case, the defense still... oh god, they're angry. I agree with Lord Van Zeeks, wholeheartedly and in every way. What? I don't believe it. Does this mean... We members of the jury are completely convinced now. This is so dumb.
Here I call on the members of the jury to present your findings to the court.
Guilty.
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 Guilty. Guilty.
Well, they were all voiced. Good grief. The maid woman sounds exactly like I thought she would sound. The big buff man does not, though.
It appears the jury's leaning is unanimous.
It's time for us to get up off our face and do the thing. To the insightful members of the jury, I applaud your brave resolve. You serve the queen and country admirably. Mr. Naruhado, get up off your face! No, not yet. This isn't over yet. Still have one last chance to sway the opinion of the jury. You have to tip the balance of those scales the other way. I have to turn this around. Somehow. Those the eyes of Corey, not yet willing to give up and die. So I presume you intend to wield your rights again in this trial. The rights of the defense written into antiquated British law should have been buried long ago. Call it antiquated if you will, but it's the defense's prerogative right, well, prerogative, to carry out a summonation examination if it so chooses.
Very well, counsel. Let's do this again! In accordance with the letter of the law, we shall proceed with a summonation examination. Are the members of the jury ready, Mr. Foreman?
Of course, we're ready. I'm all too familiar with that Nipponese whippersnapper and his oinkness refusal to throw in his alley.
Very well, then. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will each explain on your grounds what you have determined the defendant to be guilty.
Yeah, sure, this is justice.
The
jurors' contentions. For pity's sake, the little Nipponese oddity already admitted himself, didn't he? No, he didn't. If he said that a woman in green clouds before his eyes, well, I can only been the victim. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back home to the bookshop, not in the winter. So the poor woman attacked from behind, was she? How dreadful. Alright, I don't care. Can't we just wrap us up now? I've got work to be doing.
Your books, yes, nice job that. But bourbon books? No, not worth a visit.
Okay. What is...
It seems all of our jurors are really, really stupid. The only minor exemptions, the reasons finding the defendant guilty, are all too clear.
When the stabbing occurred, the only two people at the scene was the victim and the accused. And the accused himself has admitted to seeing the victim in her green overcoat sink into the ground before his eyes.
Furthermore, we have heard from the inspector, that the defendant then fled the scene. I must say, I would have ample grounds to convict this man already.
Oh dear, even the judge appears convinced of Mr. Natsumi's guilt now. Why did he have to run away like that? And how are you supposed to believe in some phantom attacker that nobody could see? This is impossible. How can I possibly make a case for this defense? Mr. Naruhito, this is no time for grumbling. I'll throw you on the ground! If we want to force the trial to continue, yes, I know, I have to turn the tide. I must make the jurors change their minds. Well, 4 of them at least. Exactly. We have no choice but to forge forward. Let alone good reasons. Exactly. Yes, my lord. Dude, the echo of that slap is so good. He just slaps himself silly. Come on, Riendo Soka, you can do it. Oh, the detective is just in the back there, letting us do our thing. No, but go on. What do you gotta say? Excuse me, but aren't you? Yes, that's right. I was in the witness stand myself just 2 days ago. Yes, I had a feeling I knew your face. Or the side of it, anyway. That's not important. If I remember correctly, you were a banker, aren't you? That's right. After the gold rush down under, I came back to London to work. And it was all going swimmingly until you started frosking around. Bruce Fairplay was a man of repute. Sorry? Nothing I've forgotten. How you treated me the other day. You had me and that young hatter pegged as criminals. Oh, well, you know, water under the bridge. Now there's all sorts of rumors buzzing around, and the police have been badgering me nonstop. If I could turn back the clock... Well, anyway, I don't know about the hatter, but at least I'm in the clear now. And free to make up my own mind about who's guilty and who isn't. Ah, thank goodness. Alright, maybe I might struggle to change this man's mind given our awkward history. Oh dear, I wonder what's become of Mr. First now. Where are you even standing? If he said that the woman in the green collapsed before his eyes, why only have been a victim? But we're not arguing that.
Hold it!
Right at the time of the incident, the defendant admits to have seen someone wearing a green overcoat walking ahead of him. Well, quiet. It's precisely my point. Clearly, that someone wearing green was the victim. And clearly, that funny little Nipponese man with the disturbing mustache is the culprit. But let's not forget, madam, the defendant conveniently denies attacking the woman. Well, of course he does. If he admits to stabbing her, his life is over. The man is obviously a liver-faced coward, honestly, claiming the woman simply collapsed before his eyes. But if that's the lie you're suggesting, do you not think he would have concocted something more credible? Oh, I really couldn't say. After all, you are foreign. Who's to say what goes through your funny little minds? Racist woman. I'll tell you what's going through my funny little mind right now, but you wouldn't like it. I do declare the man has already made the admission. He didn't. He still stated that there was nobody else around. Surely the conclusion's obvious. No one else could have possibly committed this awful crime. If no one else could have done it, the accused must be the man. Really, it couldn't be more simple.
Your argument is compelling in its simplicity, I must admit.
Oh my, you are too kind, my lord. The evil ladies are always the pretty ones, I swear.
Well, that went well for her.
They wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back to the bookshop, not in winter.
Hold it!
But you can't deny that there are other routes that Mr. Natsumi could have taken back from your books. Oh yes, like you drew on the map, you mean? What was it? Calabash Road or something? Precisely. But it seems to me that what counts is whether the little Japanese fellow actually went that way or not. Well, yes, that's true. At the moment, there's no proof that shows that he did, is there? Well, yes, that's true as well. And as I understand it, the accused himself doesn't remember which way he went, does he? Well, yes, that's annoyingly true. Winter nights are dark and cold, so the way I see it, you'd want to get home as quickly as possible. Well, yes. Why is all this true? So really, the only thing that makes sense is that he went home along Briar Road. I'm supposed to be convincing you here! I'm giving it a lot of thought, you know. I didn't just make up my mind on a whim that he did it. I mean, if there was some logical reasons why he might have gone to the Calabash Roadway, it'd be different. I'm happy to reconsider my position in that case. Honest, I would. A reason why Suzaki-san might have taken the longer way home. Oh, do we have something like that? That's a very valid point. Do we have anything? What do we have in the court record? Okay, well, there's this. Let's see. I haven't even checked this yet. There's no... What the frick is this? There's no blood here. Oh, look here, Mr. Naruhito, just at the tip. A small piece of the blade appears to be missing. You're right. Well, it's spotted, Miss Usato. Wonder what could have happened to it. Yes. You don't think. Could still be lodged in the victim, do you? Oh dear, I do hope not. That sounds terribly painful. Well, that's not... That was not very helpful. Stout build. He was seen running the other way, though. Wait. To be running the other way, he'd have to be... Okay. So this might be what we're looking for, maybe. If we're gonna attack his... The assailant was seen running away by the reporting officer... Okay, so... Wait. Well, wait, hold on. I misread it. I thought it said running the other way. Okay, but one would think if you run away from someone that just dropped down, you wouldn't be running past them, right? Okay, but no, he already said he was trying to overtake her. So that doesn't make sense. He would still... I don't know. I might be going on the wrong train of logic. I do that sometimes. Okay, I might need more information. Yes, a good reason. I don't imagine you'll be able to sway this young man's opinion without one. Okay. So I'm really just looking for all information. Whatever is the matter, young man? You're the wife of Mr. Garadeb, aren't you? The landlord who rents Mr. Natsumi his room? The master's wife? Where do you get your ideas from? The maid, you understand? She's keeping up that charade. This is going to be awkward. Why didn't you mention this yesterday? You've been selected for the jury in this trial, I mean. Well, I was told not to mention it to anyone until the day of the trial, you see. It was in the letter I received, and the instructions were very clear. I'm afraid I had no choice. I see. Anyway, Mr. Natsumi, the defendant takes lodging in your master's house, doesn't he? What's ring for then? Yes, that's right, although he's only been a little over a week now. And in that time, surely you must have taken stock of his character. Does Mr. Natsumi look like the kind of man who would commit a crime such as this? Oh my goodness me, yes, he's just the sort. What? No, his time in that dark, dingy room, sporting that unscrumptious mustache. Man never speaks, and don't get me started on those shifty eyes. No neighbors are talking about him. I've heard them, you know. People think he must be building a bomb in there or something. Oh dear, poor Mr. Natsume. How can people say such things about him? He's just a harmless bookworm. Nothing more. She's taking offense. Well, you just called him a worm, so it's just phrase. I mean, I'd better be careful about inviting this maid to speak. She's had enough damning things already. I really don't care. Can we just wrap this up now? I got work to be doing.
Hold it!
A man's life is on the line here, sir. This will take as long as it takes. Don't get over me now, son. My life's on the line too, and so's my family's. Ah. Likes if you wouldn't understand that a laborer like me can't afford to take time off. If I don't work, I don't eat, and neither do the wife and kids. Oh, I see. That must be very hard. I go to the union every morning to find out what needs doing. If you're late and the work's taken, it's tough. This time of year, there's water and gas supply pipes bursting left and right and center. They're after cheap labor to get the roads dug up and fix it. It's a hard slog from dawn to dusk, it is. So, you were out digging up the roads on the day of the incident as well, were you? That's right! In fact, if I remember rightly, it was just around the corner from where it all happened. By that old bookshop it was. What? Another coincidence. That's right. Mearsham Street it was. Mearsham Street? Yo! Wait a minute. On the map, Mr. Naruhito, there are only 3 named streets. It's like, you dumb idiot! There's only 3 roads! General 5, I need you to add that information to your formal statement, please. What's the point in that? Can we just get this business over with now? Please, sir, it's important. Fine, I'll do it then. On the day it happened, I was digging up Mearsham Street from dawn till dusk. Exactly. So here we go. So we're gonna pit these two together with the fancy man. Let's do it. These two statements are clearly at odds with one another. At odds, counsel? Explain yourself. Please don't point. It wasn't me, I swear. What? I just want to get this done and dusted. Well, juror number 3. Oh, me, sir. What do you mean? Juror number 5's words just now are extremely significant. Let's take a moment to consider the implications of what's been said on the map of the local area. On the day in question, Mr. Natsumi visited this bookshop to purchase a number of second-hand books. And on the same day, we now know that there were works being carried out on Mearsham Street? I don't even know how you're supposed to say it. You know me, I can't speak. Making it impassable, which means that the defendant's route home could not have been taken him along Mearsham Street and down Briar Road. Oh, yes, of course. What do you think, sir? Well, yes, you can't argue with that, really, can you? You must have had a good 2 yards or more of the pavement up. Every gentleman and gentlewoman that came along had to turn back and go the other way. So, the only conclusion is this. The defendant must have taken the longer route back to his lodgings. Yes, I suppose he must have. I suppose that must be right, huh? Juror number 3, you said the following. The man wouldn't have gone around the houses on his way back from the bookshop, but we see now that he had no choice. Yes! My lord, Mr. Judge, sir, if I may. Yes? I don't think, in all good conscience, that I can say the man's guilty now. Yes, I'd like to see the trial continue so we can get to the bottom of what really happened. Man, a man of logical mind. What about you, sir? Who, me? Well, alright then. If there's a hole in the prosecution's argument, it should be filled in, that's what I say. Alright, that's 2 down. 2 to go. Well done, Mr. Naruhito. That was wonderful. Well, we've managed to change a couple of minds, at least. And strengthen our position somewhat. Yes, and it will prompt the other members of the jury to reconsider their stance as well. They'll be asking themselves if their current leanings are really right or not. Now, if only we could just identify one more clue or discrepancy that would make them stop doubting Mr. Natsume. We might be able to tip the balance completely. Yes, that's exactly what we've got to do. Van Zeeks is looking to bring this trial to an early conclusion. That's what we have to prevent, by whatever means we have at our disposal. He's just sitting there watching.
Thank you, counsel. On with the summation examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Okay, so the one we haven't talked to is the old man.
Road to Truth, you gotta see it through the end, haven't you?
Okay, so he likes your books, but not bourbon books. I mean, well, there's probably something in here.
Hold it!
Sorry. Fold it. You say, fold what?
Oh, no. What I said was hold it. What I wanted to ask was, do you visit your books often?
I like the old books they have in there, yes. I enjoy reading them over a nice cup of old tea. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about.
At the time, you did visit your books on the day in question.
Well, I was picking out books in there for all afternoon, and it would have been just before 5 that I left. That's my daily routine, you see. Same thing every day, including the day you're all talking about.
Just before 5, you say. Exactly when the victim was attacked. Are you sure about the time?
Oh, yes, no mistake there. I remember it well. I'm not about to forget that day in a hurry, not after the dreadful time I had.
What do you mean? Dude, he's wearing a green coat, I just realized.
Well, I was walking down Calabash Road when I slipped on the ice and donked my head. It's always worse after the snow stopped falling. That's when it's the most slippery. Knocked myself clean out, I did. Really thought my number was up.
Wait a minute, let me get this straight. This happened on Calabash Road.
That's right. I live in Cornpipe, you see.
Okay, hold on. Which road is Calabash again? Okay, on Calabash is when this happened. Okay.
Headed down Calabash Road is the quickest way for me to get back from your books.
Juror member number 6, I must insist that you add that information to your formal statement. It may very well be extremely significant.
Sorry. Extremely sick. No, I'm quite alright now.
You've changed 2 of the jurors' minds, Mr. Naruhito. Yes, just 2 more to go. Deliver the finishing blow now. It's time to turn the tables here. Wish I knew how to do a Susasato takedown. I suppose words will have to suffice for now. Have her teach you. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing here. Alright.
Objection!
Tuesday is clearly okay.
A flaw? What are you talking about, counsel?
Well, juror number 2. Juror number 6. My, whatever do you mean, sir? Shh, I think perhaps the old man didn't hear you. Unbelievable. It's not like I was loud or anything. There is at least one fact of which we can be sure. The bookshop receipt found at the defendant's room clearly indicates on the day of the attack, he had been to your books and purchased a number of second-hand titles. He then returned home on foot. But the man says he has no recollection of his return journey. That's correct. But what he does remember is seeing someone appear in front of him on the way. Someone in a green overcoat who suddenly collapsed on the pavement before his eyes. Yes, we are all well aware of this. The poor young woman who was stabbed, obviously.
Objection!
Can we really be sure of that, madam? My, whatever do you mean? I'm sure you heard German number 6 account of what happened to him that day. The same afternoon, there was somebody else apart from the victim, who was wearing a green overcoat and fell over on the icy streets in the neighborhood. Oh my! Oh, he saw. My goodness, you mean... That's right. I'm referring to, of course, to hard of hearing juror number 6. Are you really suggesting that the person in the green overcoat whom the defendant saw collapse in front of his eyes was a jolly old gentleman at the end of the bench with me here today? That is entirely possible, yes. After all, the old man has a somewhat similar build to the victim. Well, look at that! My goodness me! Sorry, you need to pee! And crucially, we know precisely where the old man in the green overcoat fell. On Calabash Road. Therefore, if the person who Mr. Natsumi saw collapsing in front of him was in fact juror number 6, it means the defendant must have taken the long route back to his lodgings. And if that's true, then clearly, the crime scene on Briar Road where the woman was stabbed was not on his way home. Oh my! I mean, you can't really argue with that, can you? You idiot old man! If you hadn't been so daft as to be roaming in there, we would have had boxes off hours ago. And really, what were you thinking you were such a befuddling coat? What did you say to me? Is it a crime for the elderly to walk the streets these days? Is it a crime to slip over on the ice? Is it a crime to keep up with the latest styles and wear a beautiful green overcoat, is it? Okay, stop. Okay, powder your face. Powder! My lord, I do hope it won't cause any inconvenience, but...
You like to change your leaning, I presume?
I do declare that I would like to call for a verdict of not guilty. Thank you.
I would too.
What?
Is it a crime to change your mind? Is it? Will?
These fireballs are quite interesting.
Well, that examination is concluded with a rather large shift in opinion. The A is 2, no's 4. So the no's have it. Not guilty, they say. Which means you no longer have a consensus among the members of the jury. The trial will continue.
Oh, shut up, Dracula. I earned it fair and square. Broke another one. Could it seem careless of me to drink from my hallowed chalice moments before raising an objection? They bought him to think, right? Only to crush it in disgust. Pray, forgive us the discourtesy. Lord Van Zeeks. It seems I must retract my earlier remark. What do you mean? I am mistakenly credited these jurors with intelligence by describing them as insightful. Yet we have just witnessed them falling for a cheap trick performed by an Eastern entertainer. Whatever do you mean?
Objection!
I haven't tricked anyone. Everything I've said is the truth. Indeed. Stalwart juror number 5 was undoubtedly repairing the road, as he claims. I believe you said it was a good 2 yards of the pavement which you had excavated, sir. That's right. Took me the whole day, and they paid me a measly tuppence for it. And now, my Lord Nipple-Knees friend, tell me, do you have any notion of the distance that 2 yards represents? Not that much. Well, if I'm honest, I don't have a clue, no. 2 yards is a little less than 2 meters. Less than 2 meters? That's not much at all. In other words, the distance readily vaulted by anyone of moderate vigor. Would you not agree, my stalwart friend? Me? Well, I can't say you're wrong, no. What? And did you perchance erect a sign to prevent pedestrians from passing the site of your works? I wouldn't dream of it. What a waste of time. No coaches would have had a hope of passing it anyway. We just turn any gentlefolk back when they come. Kids jump right over us all the time. The accused is no gentleman as far as I can see. I have little doubt, however, that he could spring over a 2-yard trench in his meanderings around town. Okay, but here's the thing. There's the ice. He'd slip and fall trying to jump over that. Ah! Is that true? Is it? The incontrovertible truth is that the books just purchased by the accused were found as the scene. There may be no doubt that on his way back to his lodgings that Mr. Natsume walked down Briar Road. Crushed in a single sentence. And his old man.
Old man, cold man, you can talk.
You say that around 5 o'clock on the days in question you slipped and fell on Calabash Road. Pray, was there suspicious-looking Nipponese behind you at the time?
Oh, I can't say I remember.
You don't remember? How about a wager, my learned friend? You say it was this old man that the accused saw. But I would pay nay, I would lay 1,000 to 1 against you being able to prove it. Ah!
Order, order! Lord Van Zeeks, explain yourself.
My lord?
If you had such a trenchant argument up your sleeve, why in the world did you not fulfill it during the examination?
Humph. I wanted to give this young foreign student the sightseeing experience he no doubt came for. I wanted him to see for himself how the opinion of the jury is so readily swayed. Ugh. But my hospitality has its limits, and they have been reached, I feel. Uh-oh. The cape is gone. So, my learned friend, today's sightseeing tour of London is now over. We do a little drooling, Your Honor. What are you talking about? My lord. The prosecution requests permission to call its next witness to the stand.
Granted, bailiff, bring forth the witnesses.
Its next witnesses. Mr. Naruhito, do you not remember? I remember. We've been told on several occasions that there were eyewitnesses to the incident. I didn't forget. I guess Mr. Naruhito, yes, I remember. One of them being a Scotland Yard policeman, no less. I'm afraid that's likely to be the prosecution's next witness. Get ready to have your pants pulled down, Rudesoke. Alright, no matter who Van Zeeks brings to the stand as his witness, and no matter what they say, I believe in Sosaki-san. I know he's innocent. And I'll keep believing to the very end, until this battle is over. Oh my god, she's a cutie. But she's like overly cute though. Witnesses, please state your names and occupations for the court. Those eyes, goodness gracious. They're so vagabond looking though. The patches in their dress, and what the heck? He's chewing on his helmet! What is this? This is a respected member of Scotland Yard? He looks like a fake! Oh god. Constable Rolly Beat! Sah! Nothing reporting the streets, sah! What is... I don't even know what kind of voice to do for that. Is he drunk? At 10 in the morning. And I'm Miss Beat. Patricia's my name. I'm proud to say I'm this young town hero's wife. What a beautiful young couple. What's the story here? What, Rudesoke, just because you have a beautiful woman on your arm, Rudesoke, you just an idiot. Well, in truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day. No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems tired. Well, I keep him up all night. Hardly surprising. Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling the beat is the most demanding work in the field. Oh, really? I'm sure I've heard that before, actually. Never too early for a drink. Indeed, apart from the rare days off, our galleon offers trudge some 20 miles a day, you know. They patrol boarding houses and pubs, collect taxes, survey the streets, check the meters that are reading true. They're responsible for getting the streets clean and lighting and extinguishing our street lights. There are a number of items on the list that doesn't sound like much like policing duties at all. I wouldn't just be falling asleep on my feet. I'd have collapsed long ago. But it goes without saying that the policeman's primary duty is the apprehension of criminals. Even when he's off duty, a constable is expected to investigate and solve any crimes on his beat. For the London Bobby is a man of honor. And no one more honorable than this roly-poly here. And a man of slumber. On the day in question, this man and his wife were walking down Briar Road in the opposite direction. And they witnessed the incident as it occurred. Is that not correct, Mr. and Mrs. Beat? That's right, sir. Isn't it, Rolly? Who does she remind me of? She looks like Muffy from Harvest Moon. Like, crazily so. Constable Rolly Beat, sir! Nothing to report on the street, sir! What a great witness he's going to be.
Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. You will tell the court exactly what you saw on the afternoon of the incident.
Yes, sir!
I'll sleep. I need to take a screenshot for Meatface. I need to get his opinion on this later.
It was our wedding anniversary and Rolly was taking me out for a meal. There was no time to change after work. Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out of the fog on the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor, and then the other scattered something before running off. We ran straight over, of course, and we went for help in a nearby police box. It was definitely that Japanese man in the dock. Rolly and I both saw him as clear as day.
Well, this is extremely compelling testimony, I must say.
You're only saying that because it came from a pretty lady. Susato, we gotta take this down. Oh dear, the policeman and his wife were claiming to have positively identified Mr. Natsumi at the scene. The testimony is true. The alternative course of events that you established in summation examination will be squashed. Is death kneel, in fact. Because the alternative was never viable in the first place.
What an unfortunate bechancing. And on your wedding anniversary, too.
Oh, I know. But I still managed to go out for the evening with my man. Thank the Lord. I thank the Lord for that. Gosh, the life of London Bobby sounds very hard indeed.
Indeed. However, as this cross-examination will be over in minutes, you may well have time to rest this afternoon.
What do you mean by that?
My learned friend, the witness saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that it was without a doubt the accused, Mr. Sozeki Natsume. And one of these witnesses is a policeman, no less, so you appreciate the gravity of the situation, I'm sure.
Except the man's so tired, his wife has to do all the talking.
Enough preamble. Consent. So for the defense, commence the cross-examination, please.
Yes, my lord. Snap, snap.
What the witness saw?
I don't think he saw anything. Okay, well, let's just go. I bet she made that scarf for him. No time to change after work, you say? Are you also a member of the police, Miss Beat? Oh no, sadly not. It's a job for strapping young men only. Women, children, and the elderly can't even apply. Dang. We have a sexist police station. Well, I think you can probably see why the children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you? Oh, I think Rolly looks ever so handsome in his uniform. Suits you down to the grud, doesn't it, darling? What? Ah, I just finished my beat. Pat and I were heading back to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there. Is he talking in his sleep? This is creepy. Oh no, Rolly, I must prefer you in uniform. Oh my god, I don't know how I feel about this. Sometimes, I don't recognize you when I see you in plain clothes. Oh dear, that doesn't seem healthy. I was thinking the same thing, Susato!
Kindly adhere to the point. You were going for a meal after you had finished your beat for the day, correct?
That's right, sir. Yes, although I was fit to drop, to be honest, I had to spend the whole day on my feet. But Palatian is my life, sir. As long as I'm the proud owner of this, I'll serve my city and my queen to the end. Oh, what's that now? My warrant card, sir. Proof from a London copper. It was the noble founding principles of the force written on it as a reminder to all of us policemen of our sworn duty. To patrol the streets of London town and uphold the peace of the common man. Sir, and for such a noble cause, I cover 20 miles every single day without fail, without a grumble. Because I know that the plodding of my boots is all the Londoners need to hear to feel safe and secure. So, fighting crime doesn't appear to come into it then. But, sir, just on that particular day, I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. Mrs. Beat puts up with a lot being married to a bobby like me. Oh my god! I want to show my dear wife how much I care. What is happening? I wasn't expecting that. He's just... Dude, guys, get a room! Not in here! Oh, Pat. Oh, Rolly. Oh my god, these two. I swear. Guys, this is not the place. Oh, what a charming couple. Their young love is such a joy to behold. Susato, please. If a little over the top, perhaps. You've just never been in love. Except with Kazuma. I get it, you're more conservative. And then, Callie, describe what happened next. I don't care for your little flirtatious. Oh my god. Anyway, two silhouettes appeared in the fog, blah blah blah. Let me press it. Oh, objection? I don't know which one, but I do object. Agreed. I second that objection. I sustain it. Two silhouettes. That's right. They were coming towards us, walking up the Briar Road in the opposite direction. There was a rather plump figure, followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man. That does sound exactly like the victim as pictured in this print. And like Mr. Natsume. That's not helpful. Yes, unfortunately it does. And you're certain that at the time there was nobody else nearby? Oh yes, quite certain. It was dark, but there are streetlights on Briar Road, you see. There was nobody else around at all. Isn't that right, my darling? What? Oh, yes, that's right. Of course, there was a light on the light fog on the ground, but Briar Road is dead straight. You can see fairly long way down the pavement, and then there's street lighting as well. I didn't see any other pedestrians. Before sleep takes firm hold, your answer, please, Mr. Beats. You quite sure of what you've just said? Yes, sir. It's a cop who spends every day keeping watch on the streets. I'd swear to it, sir. My god. As sure as my love for Patricia is true. Oh my god, please. Objection! Objection! I should have an objection soundbite in here. They're still maintaining there was no one else other than the victim and the attacker. God, I love this. This is so dumb. They're funny, but they're dumb. It's starting to seem like that must be how it really happened. It's beginning to seem like there's nowhere to run. Well, that didn't stop Mr. Natsume, did it? He fled the scene all too convincingly. Thank you. I believe we have a reasonably clear idea of the situation just before the incident now. Excuse me. Alright, I get it. Collapse on the floor. Hold it! Scattered something. What do you mean by that? Oh, well, I couldn't quite make out what it was at the time. But then when we got closer, we realized what it was. Didn't we, darling? I don't know why I'm giving her the Southern Belle accent. She wouldn't have that in England. What? Yes, that's right. It was some old books. I see, old books. Yes, the culprit dropped a number of them all around where the victim lay in the pavement.
Indeed. That's clearly pictured in this photographic print.
That rotten Japanese man did it when he did the deed.
Hold it!
Let's not forget what remains to be established, that the defendant was indeed the attacker. But we saw him, it was the man in the dock, without the question, sir! Without question, sir. The mustache, the hunched back, the cat-like eyes, the tight mouth, the snub nose, everything! Any more insults you want to throw in? God, the British are rude. That's right, he looked down at that poor defenseless woman with those terrifying, intense eyes. And then suddenly threw his books onto the pavement and ran away. I see. This is tough. Seems as though they're telling the truth here. May I remind the court that this unambiguous testimony comes from a policeman and his wife. Now please continue. Bro. Yes, sir! Falls back asleep! We ran straight over, of course, and we helped the nearby police box. Gotcha, gotcha. 60. Bruv. Was it your husband who went for help? No, I may not be a police officer myself, but I am a proud wife one after all. Isn't that right, my darling? That does not look like a loving gesture. Choke him with a scarf. Yes, that's right. I asked Miss Beat to go. I was off duty by that point, but Bobby's never truly off duty, of course, so I felt obliged to stay and guard the scene.
Very laudable, Mr. B. Clearing the scene of a crime is a task of considerable importance.
That's why I sent Patricia, you see. Told her where to find the right police box. Forgive my ignorance, but what do you mean exactly by the right police box? Depends on a crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. Where the woman was stabbed wasn't actually on my beat. So I told Patricia to wait at the police box for the beat the incident fell under so she could go and report it. I ran there as quickly as I could and asked for help from the Bobby on duty. There's nothing more potent than a young couple in love working together, you know. And thanks to your swift response, the case was quickly resolved. The actions of two mortal citizens. Oh, please, you're making us blush. Isn't he, darling? I think he's constant state of blushing, or he's just cold. Yes, Patricia said, sir. Let's move on, shall we? It was definitely that Japanese man, Doc, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's see. But surely you wouldn't have been able to see his face by the light of the gas street lamps, would you? Oh god, we absolutely could. Us Londoners have exceptional eyesight, I'll have you know. Oh my god, what is that face? Dude, she's gonna use him as a weapon! Right. The light from the street lamps was more than enough. I just wanted to see. And my husband already told you the fog was only light, didn't he? Yes, and what of the fog?
We're famous for it across the globe, I believe, but it's an absolute menace to those who have to live with it, of course.
Oh, it is, and when it is thick, you can't even see the hand at the end of your own arm.
I've heard that phrase, too.
Yes, alright, I take your point. Now, could you stop shaking your husband about? The constant fog makes our eyes very sharp, you see. That's why we can tell you for sure and certain that it was that little Japanese man we saw. Can't we, darling? God. The sound of the neck crunching is just rough. What? Ah, yes. It was the accused, man, no mistake. The mustache and the hunchback and the cat-like eyes and tight mouth and the snub nose. I'm mistaken, both sides! As far as this couple's testimony is concerned, there can't be any question. It was the lucky son they saw running away from the scene of the crime. So that's it then, is it? That's their entire testimony. What do you think, Mr. Naruhito? Well, I hate to admit it, but while I'm hearing the testimony, it really does seem as though Mr. and Mrs. Beat saw what they saw. She has to be running away from the scene on Briar Road that day. Yes, I feel the same. So if that's true, where does it leave us? The members of the jury are sure to call for a guilty verdict after this testimony. Oh no, then what do we do? If Kazuma-sama were here... What are you trying to say? I think he would try to find a contradiction somewhere else within their testimony. What do you mean, somewhere else? Their statement about seeing Mr. Nasumi is unequivocal. Calling that into a question won't help. But if you could identify some other part of their testimony which appears to contradict the facts, you might be able to discredit them. Make the jury doubt if the pair's memory of the day is accurate. Oh, right. Put simply, we must focus on finding a discrepancy in these statements somewhere. If we don't, I'm afraid the trial may reach an early and unfavorable conclusion. Oh, why do I always seem to be so up against it? Mr. Lawyer, sir, can I ask you something? Wait, what? Oh, yes, of course. What is it? Well, you keep asking us all these questions about everything, and we told you so. It seems like you don't believe our testimony. Is that right? Is it? Well, out with it. What is happening? What is happening? What is going on? These two are hilarious. Just a little punch, just hiding behind him. What? No. Oh, no, it's really not that at all. My husband's a policeman, remember, and I know what I saw. I remember every last detail. Everything. Like, oh, I know. What about the books the man dropped? Oh, here we go. I can tell you the names of every single one I could. Every single one. And you dare to question how reliable my testimony is. We're at the boxing part of the trial again. I'll have my woman fight your woman, and then we'll just see who wins. No, I just won't do it all. That Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. Even if I decide to forgive him for insulting us, don't think for a minute that Rolly will. Dude, he is asleep. I really didn't mean to cause offense. Please put your husband's fist down.
But perhaps you'd like the opportunity to supplement your testimony, Miss B. Might that appease you?
Oh, thank you, my lord. That would settle things nicely. Wouldn't it, darling? He has no freaking comment. I could even tell you the names of the 4 books he dropped at the scene. Well, let's hear them! Yes, we know that there were books dropped at the scene of the crime, as you say. Those purchased by the accused are the nearby second-hand bookshop on the day in question. After I'd been to the police box for help, I decided to have a good look over the area for good measure. I'm a proud policeman's wife, after all. I did it for Rolly. And what was your husband doing at the time? Oh, he was lying face down in the snow, getting some well-deserved rest. She says so proudly. He works ever so hard, you know. Ever so hard. Don't you, my darling? Interesting way of guarding the scene of the crime.
Well, Miss B, seeing as you regale the court with tales of your powers of recollection, would you be so kind as to recount the titles of the books you observed at the scene?
I wasn't gonna ask that, but she's gonna do it. Be happy to. Now, are y'all listening? There was the picture of Monsieur somebody or other, and what's it, yearnings, and then there was a meal for someone, and that last one was definitely the thingamummy something. There's 4? You see? That wasn't super great. Yes, I see there are 1 or 2 holes in your memory. Oh well, they were along those lines, I'm quite sure. There were indeed books found at the scene with titles along those lines, as you put it. Well, what did I tell you? So I think it's very mean the way you've been implying that my testimony can't be trusted. Don't you agree, darling? Oh my God! Oh, put that away! Put that away! Don't pull out a gun in court! Anyone who steps my Patricia have to have me to answer to. Sir, please put the gun down. Terrifying. Yes, she really is. So that is it. Why do I need to see this line again? Goodness gracious, that's a lot of information. Thank you. Alright, so let's see. Wait, hold on. 4 books? Hold it.
Objection.
It's not the titles that are wrong, it's the number. So you're saying that there were 4 books. That's right, remember all of them. The picture or monster somebody, what's it, yearnings, and a meal for someone, and the thingagummy something. I'm sorry, Miss B. But there is a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours. Oh no, what? What flaw? Simply put, that at the scene of the crime, there are only 3 books, not 4. What? This is the receipt for the bookshop where the defendant bought his books. Your books. Yes, and it details Mr. Natsumi's purchases that day. But as you can see, only 3 books were listed. Only 3? But no, that can't be. I remember seeing them. There are 4 books, I tell you. 4 dirty old books. Oh, really? Have a good look at this photographic print of the scene of the crime. As you can clearly see from this evidence as well, there are only 3 books. But I just don't believe it. I saw them there. I swear it. I saw them. No, madam. I'm afraid your powers of observation cannot be relied upon. Ugh! So it cannot be denied that though you say it was the defendant you saw, you could very well be mistaken. Oh, no. Oh! Dude, her skirt is so tethered. Okay, here we go. Some reason is being about to be spoken back in here, unfortunately. She's hiding behind him. It's so funny. It's plainly evident is that it is yours, pals. A deduction that cannot be relied upon, my learned Dipponese friend. What? Oh, the wine. It cannot be denied that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. In fact, that you know very well you have no hope of disproving. Ah! So you have striven to avert attention from that by dint of some inconsequential discrepancies. Will that be fair? Ugh, he sees right through me. But your plan has a somewhat recoiled against you. What are you talking about? It's quite simple. Let me explain with a toast. To the policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony in every respect. Oh! You see, the matter is not up for debate. As the scene of the Briar Rose, a total of 4 books were most definitely found.
Objection.
But what about the photographic print? It only shows 3 books. It's quite right. Only 3 can be seen in that print. That print? You mean to say? Fire! Allow me to present another that shows the victim's hand. I love voicing this guy. I don't believe it. The Lion's... the Lion's Pride? What? That's the book from the fire! It's even burned! It's the 4th book. As you will observe, the 4th book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso. No! No! Dang. Oh my god, their scarf is connected. I just noticed that. Continue, sorry. There, you see, look at that. Look. Yes. It's just like I said, isn't it, my darling? They are joined not at the hip, but at the scarf. Yes, sir. Just as always, right, sir. Let us study the receipt for the books purchased by the accused on the day in question. Mrs. Beat, the titles once again, if you please. Oh yes, of course. The picture of Monsieur somebody or other. The picture of Monsieur Lecourt. Was it yearnings? Canterbury yearnings. A meal for someone. A meal for Gariborel, in fact. As the court has just heard, the witness remembers the book's titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details. Mrs. Beat's powers of recollection can only be described as exceptional. Did you hear that, Rolly? The gentleman paid me a compliment. Yes, flawless, sir. Patricia is flawless. That's not what he said. But there are only 3 books on the receipt, and Mrs. Beat mentioned 4. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly the 4th book is that shown in photographic print. I'm so sorry, counsel, but does that not seem odd? Why should the 4th book be omitted from the receipt? It's not odd at all, my lord. It doesn't belong to them, as the photograph clearly shows the 4th book was found in the victim's clutches.
In other words, it belongs to the victim. The victim was holding her own book. I wonder what became of the fourth book. Obviously, it wasn't overlooked by the investigating officers at Scotland Yard. I have it here as evidence. You will submit that and the aforementioned photographic print to the court, please, counsel? My pleasure, my lord. There we go. The fourth book. I need to investigate that book. The prosecution rests. Alright, I need to inspect this book. Let me see. It's a book titled The Lion's Pride. I'm afraid I don't know any English literature at all, so it wouldn't be something I've heard. Wait a minute. The Lion's Pride? That's strange. I think I have heard of a book by that name before. Very recently, too. It's a title I recognize too, Mr. Naruhado. She probably might know it from actually reading the book. Fire. Oh, look at this. The book has been badly burnt. You're right. You'd never be able to read it in this state, especially not the later pages. What a terrible waste. You could get by with the beginning being missing, but the end? Judging from the scorched edges of the paper, I think the damage must have occurred very recently. A book recently damaged by fire. Why is that rather ready for... Go. Okay, open the book. That does not seem to be a thing I can do. Alright, well, that's good to have that updated. Well, that's burnt. I can see that. It doesn't look very good in the photo, weirdly enough. Wait, oh, so blonde hair. Okay, it's still blonde hair, still short hair. I mean, I didn't think that was going to be massively different, but you never know. Okay, let us continue. I wonder if anyone in this room hasn't broken the law. Well, I mean, so far the cop couple hasn't broken the law. Have they? Not yet. There's still time. I have nothing further to add. What? You seem surprised, my learned friend. But your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. It's the spurious longer route to the accursed lodgings that you tried to establish with your summonation examination. Oh, but he's a police officer. Do you get a pass for that? In the 1800s, do you? I don't know. Maybe. Maybe. That's fair. That's a very fair thing. I didn't think of that. And the attempted discrediting of the witness's powers of recollection in your cross-examination. Futile? I walked right into this, didn't I? You say everything we said is true. Isn't that right, my darling? She is going to kill this man. Maybe 1800. But yeah, but this is the 1800s. Yes, Pat, marry me, Pat. Dude, you're already married. So, perhaps the ladies and gentlemen of the jury would like to reconsider their positions. Should the court waste any more time on this Nipponese travesty? Or is the decision you have to make all too apparent already? You have heard all of the witnesses and seen all of the evidence. This trial's run its course. Mr. Naruhado, I'm afraid we are in a terribly precarious position. I know, but if I fight back in the wrong way now, I could very well just make the matters worse. Think, Ryunosuke, think. What do you think now? Oh my god. Usually raising objection is always the right answer, but I'm afraid that raising objection now is the wrong answer. I don't want to make things worse. Oh god. Jeez. Ah, what the hell?
Objection.
This might be bad. I'm not done yet! No, my learned friend, it's over. The last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There's no more room for debate. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... I can't think of what to say! Sasuto, please speak speak knowledge into my brain. Oh, she's gonna speak. If I may, Lord Vanseeks. Seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. Oh, the lady's like, oh! Hef! You're insignificant at the least, and Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene in a moment like this. Oh? I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my sister's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Mr. Naruhito, dude, what a gentleman. Bam.
One of this land's great guiding principles is tolerance. So, the court will hear you, madam.
Go ahead, Mrs. Zato, please. Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have we all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further?
No, it can't be! He respects women! I love how the women were all excited that she spoke up, too. I love that detail.
And then Dracula died. Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished.
I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you?
Mr. Naruhito, what do you think? It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their learnings in a moment. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. I have. Yes, I understand. And thank you, Mr. Zato. This is it. Susato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. Can't let it go to waste. I don't know how it's going to make any sense, but we're going to see. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord.
Oh, Zeeks is angry.
Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case and has hitherto been overlooked.
The fourth book. It has to be the fourth book. The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. The fourth book, found in the victim's hand.
Objection!
We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know.
Yes, I'm afraid, counsel, I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity, you led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained a hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, counsel. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear?
Oh, yes, my lord. It's, Mr. Naruhito. I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence. Which means you may very well be on the right track. Yes, I think you might be right.
So, counsel, precisely where is the vital clue to this case, to which the fourth book conceals?
Got it!
I would like to ask the court to observe the back of the book in question.
The back? What are you? Oh, good gracious! It's been burnt to a crisp.
So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It's undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend? God, he is terrifying looking. Oh. Were I to concede the point, if it bears no relation to the case, there's nothing to discuss. So, should you wish to assert that this fire damage has some vague clue as to what happened that day?
Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? A charred book. There is just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory.
Don't keep us waiting any longer then, Council. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain from the fire damage that this sorry tome has suffered?
Its owner, I think. My lord, the burnt on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner.
I beg your pardon?
But we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping it in her hand, so she fell to the floor after all. It's obviously hers. The question is how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to and where it originated, the defense has very credible answers.
Good gracious, how can you possibly...
Very well, I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember that the members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry.
Now, so the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So, the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book?
The Moon Man, John Garrett. Jared. This, the Moon Man, sir, your honor. John. The answer is the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. To a certain Mr. and Mrs. Jaredeb. That's how I would say it. Or Garadeb. The landlords! And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but... Of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Miss Garadeb herself. Oh my goodness, me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garadeb's wife. I'm his maid. Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garadeb's house? I would never presume to know all of the books he keeps, sir.
Objection.
Liar. This is outlandish behavior. The woman is the council's landlady, you say? Is the accused's landlady, you say? You implicate this hard-working member of the public? You besmirch her without a shred of evidence. Your actions are unforgivable.
Objection.
Football, prosecutor. This is not a mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb's house.
Good lord! What sort of incident, counsel?
A fire, my lord. Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. Bally furniture started going up as well. Worst of it, I lost my favorite. Book called The Lion's
Fire!
Fire! Exactly! All comes back to fire! Oh god, that stance! Ooh, he's menacing! Ooh, boy! When he's pressured, he's scary! He's like, just doing the JoJo pose over here, with one hand, though. The Lion's Pride.
By Jove, that's the very same title, the subject of this debate!
Oh, dear me!
Objection.
This is reciable. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was dissolved in a fire. In which case, it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. It is entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removes itself from the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Miss Jaredeb was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Jaredeb even amid the flames. Oh, how awful! I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Rolly? Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir. And we're not talking to you two right now. You're not relevant right now. But it was burned. All my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got hold of them, that was it. Whoosh, up in smoke. Then the wife started hurling things at me. There I was, back up against the window, under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books coming 10 to a dozen. She was set throwing flaming books at him.
The man had his back up against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him? Good gracious! Are you suggesting that the book was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
No, a thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted at the very evening of the incident. There's no report of the Gadrium's window pane being broken. That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garadeb household. But it's not conceivable that the window was open at the time and not even remotely! Let us not forget the season and these chilling weathers that accompanies it! No Londoner would ever have leave a window open in the middle of the winter! Ah! They literally said the room was filling with smoke. You're gonna air the smoke out, you idiots! Why is that not a common rebuttal?
Does the defense What the frick is that word? The scenario in all seriousness, counsel. Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Garadeb's wife?
Yes! Let me say the window was open. I believe it's a possibility, my lord. That's quite enough. I don't know who said that. Probably her. It's her. Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you foreign little trickster. Call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. I mean, coward. Really? Claiming that our little tiff set a whole neighborhood alight. Honestly, implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake. How could you? It has nothing to do with this beastly case, not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name. No, I assure you that was never my intention. Drinking up Sin Citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your falling defense. Dude, he dodged. I should box your ears was what I should have done. It's totally unforgivable. Too right! Here we go. How long have we sat here now listening to this Nipponese spouting his fancy foreign theories? But think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly stab the victim is that little hunchback with the mustache, and he ran away from the scene too. I do declare you're right. It's true. Yes, but I tell you. Makes sense to me.
Sorry. What's that?
Oh my god. Literally, we've had nothing but a big waste of time, is what you're telling me.
Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. What is your position, Lord Van Zeeks?
Oh my god, stop. We need to stop. In truth, my lord, I feel those have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then, one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait! The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... Holy, it's the boot! If books are your predilection, my learned friend, studies them on your own time! Dude. Dude, what? No, forgive the discourtesy this time?
In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual reasons regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Oh,
Guilty.
God.
Guilty.
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 Why? What? We gotta do this nonsense again! That's a lot of fire.
Thank you for that unambiguous response.
That's twice now. It's over. Mr. Naruto, don't give up. Mr. Zato, have you forgotten? The battle's not over yet. You're not suggesting... Of course, the defense has the right to another summonation examination at this point. You can still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance. My lord, the defense asked to exercise right as a summonation examination. Do you believe you still have tricks up your sleeve? I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. There's no time to be downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. Good grief, this has been quite the experience. No, this is probably where we're gonna have to end for tonight. As engaged as I am in this right now, and it's engaging, I don't know if I can keep going at this point. It's already been almost 4 hours now, so I don't want to quit. I'm in the heat of the moment right now, but I don't think it's gonna wrap up anytime soon. Trial part 2. Goodness. Oh, excuse me. Hello. So I'll probably have to do it for tonight. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wait till next week to tackle that again. I might come back on a different night where I don't normally stream and do a little bit more. We'll see. I'll keep you guys posted. Tomorrow is probably going to be Bug Fables, though, because that's what my trend has been right now. Monday night. The standard save point located 1/10 of the way through the trial. Yeah, I know, but it's like, if I don't take it and stop now, I might not get one for over another hour. Like, we've only had 2 save points tonight. This is the second one. The first one was like an hour and 45 in, and then we've been going for about 2 hours since then. If that train of logic continues, we're probably got at least another hour and a half to continue. So as much as I don't want to stop, I'll probably have to. I'll try and resume later this week or something. Maybe if I'm not busy on Wednesday night, I can come back and do a little Wednesday before at a decent hour. We'll see. Cause I'm thinking. So what I'm. Visual always feels so draining, even when they aren't that long. I mean, honestly, I'm super engaged. Like, I'm invested, and it's. I kind of wish there was a little more. I feel like I wish there was more gameplay to this. Like, I feel like there's not as many clues you find in investigations in this game so far. A lot of the clues that you get really do just come as the game gives them to you in this one. But it's all about, like, figuring out the logic of things. So, I don't know. I like it. It's been a lot of fun. I could easily, on my own volition, keep going, but, like, if it gets too long or too late, it'll be hard for people to catch back up or rewatch or continue to have an attention span for longer. It's different when you're experiencing it yourself, but I assume you guys are also seeing this for the first time with me. I don't actually know. I might be wrong. I still don't know where Kokoro is. Excuse me. But, that is what that is. All sought up through, like, chapter 2. Okay, so that's fair. So it's chapter 4. It's Japanese for heart. Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. You did tell me that. I'm sorry. It's been a week. It's been a week, man. Hey, get out of there. Hey, move. What are you doing to the window? Okay. So I think the plan for this week will be tomorrow's going to be more Bug Fables. On Tuesday, last Tuesday I called it off because I was a little bit busy in the daytime, and I was getting kind of tired by the time evening hit, and I just didn't feel like streaming. I was still kind of recovering in a way from being sick. I learned through the fact that my coworkers were sick while I was on vacation with some weaker strand of COVID, that I had COVID, I'm guessing, or some weaker strand of it. So even though I got through it with mostly no symptoms, I still was very tired. But there's that. So there will be stream on this Tuesday. If I can find it, we're gonna do Sonic Adventure 2. I think I'll make a proper announcement on that here after the stream is over. As long as I can find it, you know, it should be pretty easy to find. What the? Oh, I dropped something. Because I haven't. We streamed Sonic Adventure 1 already, and I've just kind of been in the mood to play it, really. So that'll do it then. And if I'm not busy Wednesday, we can do a little bit more of this on Wednesday. So that should hopefully be enough time for everyone. So with that said, I will let you guys go for tonight, and hopefully you guys will join me for Bug Fables tomorrow. And if I do continue this on Wednesday, hopefully I will see you guys on Wednesday for... I don't even want to be optimistic and say the conclusion of the trial. I feel like we're going to go into a second day unless this game does not follow the typical Ace Attorney rules of the trials being postponed. I don't know. So who's to say? The only trial we've had of a British trial ended in one day, but it was almost still feeling like a tutorial trial. This game really messes with the conventional Ace Attorney format, so it makes it hard to figure that kind of thing out, personally. But we'll get through this. But anyway, this is where I'll leave you. We'll be back tomorrow for Bug Fables, like I said. I don't need to repeat the whole thing. I'll update the schedule after stream. So that'll do it. Have a good night, guys. I will see you guys tomorrow in the Bug Fable stream. And yes, have a good one. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye. Double salute this time. I don't know why I still do that. My outros always stink.